Okay, that's fine. So this is just a preliminary kind of our first budget meeting for the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget. I guess we're going to go ahead and start off with Sal and Betsy, kind of giving us a rundown of the draft that they've been working on. I know that they've kind of been working on a lot of things over the probably last month or so. Is that right, Betsy? A lot of changes, a lot of questions. Um, so we'll wait until Sal gets back in here. Um, what- Everything good? All right. So we're going to go ahead and start with the item one, the new Texas law, HB 1851, which kind of directly impacts Odem. Um, Sal, I'll go ahead and let you kind of go over this. I know it's a deadline for the tax rate, but you could go ahead and, okay. Yes.
So the new law, 1851, it's has an effective date of September 1st. So we're not totally sure if we adopt the tax rate before September 1st, then we could do how we've always done and pick what the city wants, or does it apply now? Because the effective date, the tax rate wouldn't be effective until after September 1st. But with that, we have to have all of our audits done timely in order to be able to pick the above the no new tax rate. We would be restricted to the no new tax rate without current audits. And you have 180 days from September 30th to get those done, which puts us like at March 29th.
So this wouldn't affect the voter approved rate that we've adopted the last two budgets. This is just if we're going to go above the
This is
no new tax rate.
The voter approved rate would be above it, so we wouldn't be able to do that one.
Okay. So the no new tax rate is, the no new tax rate is, what is that, the 5.3?
The 5.3.
That was like, okay.
Have you confirmed that with her? It's 5.3? Have you confirmed that?
We haven't got we have kind of the rate, but we don't have the
We
rate.
have the unofficial
It's
numbers
unofficial.
from the tax assessor.
Because I think if you go above that, then this will go into effect, but other than that, you fall in line, right?
Yeah, it's kind of my understanding, as
Yeah,
long as,
I mean, ultimately, the black and white of it is with that question of if we do it before October 1st or after October 1st, because we're behind on audits, we're limited on where we can go. It's basically like just the base tax rate, is where we're stuck at. And if you wanted to go higher than that, then that's when the new law would restrict us. But we'll probably consult with FE just to get some interpretation to make sure that if we happen to pass the budget, which kind of doesn't make, we have to pass the budget before October 1st.
right.
So it would make sense to me that,
It's before September 1st.
I'm sorry, that's before September 1st. So, I mean, we wouldn't have time, honestly, to even do that without rushing it. If they said, oh yeah, if you pass your budget before September 1st, you can, the law doesn't apply to you, but I just don't know that we have the time.
I think in the past, like I said, if we were going above, then that would.
This is a new,
It's
like,
Oh, it's
it's
new.
brand new law.
It's a brand new law.
So we either or.
Can you put it up there? Can you find that law?
She's driving right now.
You heard anything like that?
I haven't seen, that's the first I've heard of it. So,
And since there's no, I guess,
you know,
case law against, like,
Mayor, that's what you do.
interpretations on it.
Yeah, I think we're
It's hard
okay
to-
as long as we're not trying to increase the tax
Exactly.
rate.
That's what-
That's really where this affects us, is if we're trying to go above.
Above the tax rate.
And
The-
that-
the
that-
voter
that-
approved.
That was my feeling that, I would assume y'all probably don't want to raise taxes if you can help it.
No.
So I think that it wouldn't really apply to us anyway if you want, but if you wanted to, we're still restricted anyway, but we still want to run it through EPI just to make sure. um, Yeah, it was that law and then, the 72-hour notification as well. So you can't count weekends anymore on your 72-hour notification. So we'll have to do like for Tuesday's meetings, they have to be posted by 7 PM the Wednesday before.
Hmm.
So we're gonna need to be a little bit more strict with putting stuff on the agenda. Hopefully we won't have more meetings, you know.
When's the TML?
Wednesday,
TML.
TML is October 28th through the 31st.
Okay, so I guess, has everybody kind of responded to you as whether they're gonna,
Yes.
because I think that, that needs to be included in the budget, like,
Yes.
but I could think it's important because there have been some changes, legislative changes this last, and so some of y'all who would like to go and sit in and maybe ask questions, and I was planning on not going initially, but with the legislative changes, I'm gonna go because I have a lot of questions. I mean, I may have them answered. I'm supposed to go to Austin next month, so I might have some answers by then, but still,
I have a question, is the possibility of some of us carpooling with the city college?
yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Everybody let us know, because I like to do that, but
I mean, y'all would just have to confer with each
Right.
other and then just,
Yeah.
just make sure,
That's all
just let me
I'm
know that you're gonna use it and we just make sure that no one is gonna.
Yeah.
We actually have we established an account a fuel account with Valero. So we actually have a Valero card. We don't just get gas from planners anymore. So
Right.
we can just give you a card and y'all don't have to worry about getting, reimbursed for fuel or nothing like that. So,
I don't want to have to drive up that corner.
yeah, it's
Mayor, is, insurance wise on that vehicle, are we covered?
yes.
How?
As far as, you mean like,
So we have a wreck in the city vehicle.
yeah,
How's that insured?
I think the only thing,
I mean, all sorts of coverage, just like your regular car's covered.
because we're considered city employees. So as long as we're in the vehicles,
Okay,
yeah,
that's.
yeah.
All our vehicles have to be covered the same way. They're covered in the risk pool.
I think the only thing is that our insurance has talked about is, having people who are not city employees in the vehicles. Yeah, like your spouse or, cousin or whatever. So if you're gonna take your spouse or somebody with you, it's better to go in your own vehicle because, well, we can, I guess, talk to Epi and the insurance company, see if that works. Were you able to get it?
That's all right, but
Um,
don't worry about it.
Do you have your phone? You could probably could look it up quicker on your phone, the HB 1851. I don't have mine because mine's plugged in over there. So,
Mine's too small to read.
but I think this only affects us anyway. If we're gonna go with the higher tax rate, which I don't think
It
we're.
might be better also just to have the legal, opinion on it and we'll have the official answer.
I'll read up on it.
For sure.
I can share the article, because I had an article on it on TML's website.
Okay, so I'll read.
And I
I'll
can
read
share
it.
that.
Yeah, I'll read. Yeah.
So
But, and it was saying that they weren't sure if that applied to the most current audit, or if that's like, you have to cut up with all of audits, which would be going back to like 16. 17. I hope it's not the case.
yeah, I guess we have to get some maybe email Bill Longley or at TML to get kind of an idea of what that. I mean, because if that's going to be the case, and we're sitting, if we have to go all the way back to 2016, that's not going to happen. So is that going to affect us being able to, in the future, look at if we're going to try to increase tax rates for something, is that going to affect that? We might not even consider planning that in the future. So you can just find
Like
out.
2016.
Because
I
that's,
think that was the last year.
For us, no, we're caught up to 2020.
I was like, where did that 2016 come from?
no, we're not caught up to 2020. We did
No.
2020, 2021 fiscal year,
Oh, that's what I
but
meant.
everything before 2020, we've kind of just,
16, no,
Yeah.
we ain't got nothing.
yeah, from 16 to 2019, we don't have anything. So that's, I guess you're gonna have to just find out how that's gonna affect us.
5
It
years,
says there's
4
no,
years.
I guess, case law.
I mean, I'm guessing they would have like a limit because
Yeah.
we're not the only city that's, I mean, there's several cities that I've talked to, mayors that are also behind on audit. So, I mean, we just have to know for the future for us. Um, y'all want to go over the year to date? Um, can you like make that bigger? Maybe X that little thing on the side, that ledger.
I can make
So
it big-
here is
try to make
our-
it as big as this. The other thing she's going up here is with your packet.
So the first page is going to be the summary. So this is just going to show revenue and expenses for each of the funds. So our revenue is year to date on the general funds is 1547, and our expenses are 1425. So we've got 121,000 over on the revenue. So the negative sign, that's good. That's what you want. For our systems funds, 1,354,346 over 857,543.
On the general fund, why are we over?
It's not,
It could just be the timing of stuff getting in there, or it could be there's several
it's
different
more,
factors.
we're actually have more money.
Yeah, we have more money.
It's a little misleading, but you want that in a revenue, you want, right? I mean, you want a negative, so you show it, oh, we actually made more money than we expected.
Okay.
Yeah, so the 121,000 is basically like a surplus.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's actually, when you see that on in the revenue
Okay.
area, that's a good sign.
So where's the negative at? I mean, you said there's a negative somewhere.
Oh, sorry,
When
this-
you see parentheses
Yes.
on our ledgers, when you see parentheses,
Yes.
that's a signal for
I
over.
thought you said we spent more than what we were supposed to.
No, I think she said we got
Is that
more
what you
than.
said?
If I did, that was incorrect. It's,
We got more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, when you look at revenue lines, and in budgets, and you see parentheses and revenues, that's a positive.
Okay.
Okay.
Got you. All right.
Now, in expenses, if you see the parentheses,
That's a negative.
yeah, that's a real, then we got, hey, what's going on?
Okay. Gotcha.
So the system fund, what does that encompass? Maybe
so
just
it's
kind
just, the general fund is going to be the administrative office, municipal, some municipal court,
Library.
the library, fire department,
Some of the-
community center type stuff, some maintenance, and then system fund, that's going to be water sewer. That's going to be something that we're generating revenue off of by services.
So let me ask a question when it comes to the system fund, since, I mean, and this is probably something that we probably discuss probably in the next. One thing that we have, Jerry Miser, who's actually kind of our wastewater operator. but he falls under the general fund. His salary is under the general fund, not the system fund. And then Angela as well, kind of her main job is really, the billing. And again, her salary kind of comes out of the general fund. And I think we've discussed in the past about when we budget, at least those two positions should be under the system fund to kind of show, you know, because they're not general. I mean, it's
So that is something that was discussed last year, and then the consensus was just to put under general at that time.
Right.
But the goal was to, as we improve in code, that we would move, those specific employees where they need to go.
But I think they currently are underneath.
And that was the confusion. So like, it was like we said we weren't, and then they were. So it's a little tricky, but again, and one thing I want to tell you is just take this with a grain of salt, because it's still not up to par. We're still whittling through it, and Betsy's on a daily basis is constantly going in there and just kind of trying to make adjustments for the future of in-code setup. But yeah, but no, we agree with you. That's where they need to be, and we're going to make sure that it's reflected more clear on future budgets.
See, and then also amendments overtime, that's mostly sewer and water,
Mhm.
right?
mhm.
Yep.
And we have it underneath general. So,
Right. So there's a lot of moving that needs to happen.
so
But
this is a page in your packet.
the tricky part with encode is you can't just say, okay, let's just start here, right? Because then when you disconnect from that line item that's here, that is labeled oddly, whatever it was, and then you start new, we have to make sure it connects back, so you have
No,
a
no.
paper trail.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. I mean, you can't even add a new code, an encode for some new service without, it's a big headache, because I know we tried that before, so, okay. So system fund, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
But I do have a breakdown on where the salaries fall and the different ones. So we can touch on that on it. Then we have the garbage fund, which is going to be the charges that we have for Republic, from Republic, and then from the citizens paying for those services.
And I think, Sal, you and I talked about Republic, they're gonna be increased.
There's a
That-
4% increase
Right.
on their
That
costs.
page tells you that.
Yeah. And that was, I did speak to the Republic, and they did want me to remind the council that, that they already had given us sort of they worked with us, I think it was 2022, 23, but they have foregone the increase to help us out. And of course, I went back and kind of, they maybe upset again, they're like, no, we can't, we have to, we agreed that going forward. And that is the contract that was signed, that there would be a 4% increase. And
Yeah.
what, and y'all probably know this already, but, that's just the nature of the beast. There's always going to be increases. It's about 2 to 4%. And that's been in my experience working in government as well.
Does something happen in October?
What was that?
Doesn't it usually happen, they raise it in October?
Yeah, right, for our new fiscal year, right. And that's what we're doing here. We're just sort of preparing to say like, 4%, what does that mean? Where are we at, and we're just, of course, my gut tells me is, to not knowing your specific asks, but, you don't want to raise taxes if you don't have to. But we do have to, or fees, but our side is we do have to, we have to maintain the business, so to speak, by being able to pay salaries and increases and that kind of stuff, so.
Where does franchise fees go into? Like we get, the garbage, we get franchise with the Republic for these commercial
I
bins.
think right now they're being right now I think they're being recorded just the general fund.
Should it be on Republic? I mean, should it be in
Under garbage fund?
I think the franchise for garbage is usually in budget. I don't know how y'all would set it.
And see, my understanding is that basically,
Right now.
franchise fees are basically fees being paid to the city for operating in the area. So, that's almost, it's sort of, how do you,
But it goes to the Republic.
Well, it's okay, so we get franchise fees from AP, we get them from Republic, we get them from, Spectrum, just all those companies. So, I mean, it's almost like a permit fee, so those would go into like a general. But, I mean, you can make a point either way, right, where you want them.
Well, I think,
That's what I was gonna ask you. Do we get other franchise fees and do they all go to the general fund?
Yes,
and that's been the norm,
right,
we're just kind of,
yeah.
that's the way, and,
Well, that can offset some of this garbage fund too, that
And-
4%, and we can put the franchise fees toward
Well,
that.
I see what you're saying. You're saying to offset any increase, make sure that any revenue generated from franchise goes.
Goes to the garbage fund.
Okay.
And I think we're covered with the 4% without making really any changes, because it's,
You can still do it, though.
18,000, and right now
I mean,
we're showing that
makes
we're
sense.
$120,000.
well, that makes sense. It
for
looks,
certain stuff
it
that's-
looked better. All right, just something, I don't know.
But if you really like the system fund and the garbage fund, those funds, you look at those at as a business, like that's something that we charge for services. Whereas general fund that's like money from taxes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, the system fund, when they pay their water bill, does they go to the system fund? How come the garbage can't go into garbage?
Yes.
I mean, it makes sense,
No, it does make sense.
It does make sense.
right?
yeah.
That's
Well-
always been that way.
Well, right now, the water bills go into the general pool cash account, right?
Yes, but the bank account is sort of separate because really we should have just one big bank account.
Right,
But the problem, but it not being done that way was sort of has been our saving grace because Encode has just been kind of wacky. It's getting the money, it's getting a little clearer, but we're not there. It's more complex, and thankfully, we brought in Betsy because she's been really dialing down and finding just little areas for improvement. But to go back to what you're saying, yeah, you're right.
well, it'd be difficult though if the money goes into the system fund, then accessing it for general purposes. It's,
Well, see, if Encode was perfect or next to it, right? Ideally, you would just have really good records here and just have one big bank account, right? But again, because it's not perfect and we have the money separated out. And you're right we don't really have an account separate for system
right,
in there. But I think we've done a pretty decent job of just sort of managing it.
Yeah.
But the long-term goal is to get Encode up to par and then just consolidate all our bank accounts and we just move forward.
well, I think, I don't want to say up to par or that Encode's, I think it's just, we're not using Encode the way it was, designed to be used. It's been limited. We used it when I first came in just to print out checks and pay the bills.
Yeah, and the
and-
initial setup isn't ideal, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
It is what it is
so-
now, and we're doing our best just to fix it without, messing up past records, and that's the tricky part. So.
Right. So.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The only thing that I have a concern with the garbage fund, and I see that we should be able to not really do the 4% increase. I don't want to be 2 years down the road and the increase is going to be 4%, right? Each year for how long?
Well, the contract's up in 27, so we would be negotiating in 26. So this time, if not a little earlier, this time next year, we should be talking to Republic or going up RFP really technically.
Yeah, I don't want to be in a situation like we were when we first came in, where we say, well, we hadn't increased it in 5 years, so we're going to have to increase it, instead of just 4%, we're going to have to increase it 8% or 12% because we didn't do it. I don't want the community to take a hit like that, because all of a sudden we see our garbage fund going into a negative. So we just have to be, very careful, even though that we might be able to get away with it this year. I don't know what the situation is going to be like next year, so.
Remember also, y'all passed an ordinance that you would pass along the increase to the customer.
Yeah.
And, hopefully the community, is aware enough to know that, you'll get increase in so many years, and then that was a big hit, and that's usually not the strategy. You want to just increase it slowly, as things go up, and I'm not for it, I hate it. I'm a taxpayer too, but it's just what it is, what it is. But you're right, Anita, we need to look at that too, to see if we can avoid it, but the hard-nosed business, I would say, don't avoid it, you keep going with the flow, but like ultimately, it's y'all decision to decide if you want to do that. Maybe it's a penny or two, it helps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
I do want to point out, so I skipped ahead to the garbage fund, the detailed version, just further back in the packet. We haven't made the transfer, but in the budget, we're supposed to be making a transfer to the general fund and the system fund from the garbage fund
right.
of total of 126,000, which would put us with a deficit of about 5,000. And maybe we don't need to transfer the whole amount to.
Brought the wrong glasses, I can't see.
Breaking along.
You said we'd be about 5,000
Yeah, but
short.
you look cool, yeah.
Mhm.
We're about 5,000 short.
The 4% that we're talking about in October. So that's gonna be passed on to the residents.
You're right. I mean, like I said, that's the policy that was passed before I got here. And then we did that. Last year we did, right, 7%, I believe. I think we went in asking for 10, and then y'all went down to 7. And the reason we originally went to 10 was just to sort of give us some cushion, but we went to the bare minimum with a little bit of cushion. And then, so this year, instead of the 7, we did the 4. But yes, that's what should happen, but y'all can, hopefully y'all do it y'all.
So the franchise fee that Jesse was talking about, if you were to put it in the garbage, would that offset that 4% or not?
We'd have to look into that, because I don't have that number on top, do we have that on here?
I kind of like Jesse's idea.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
do
can
have
help,
the
it'll help.
franchise
It'll help, like I
taxes.
said,
It is
with-
included in there.
Oh, it is included in there. Okay.
How much is franchise?
12,500.
But there's
The
a,
budget, and we got 12,980.
but there's a couple of businesses in town that don't have that we gotta get them on franchise, correct?
I believe
Family
that's right.
Dollar and,
I think that's the only one, really, Family Dollar. And I talked to the, because I got the numbers from Sal to call the regional person, because I talked to the manager there. She says, well, we've had this company since they opened the store. I'm like, okay, well, so nobody came to you before about this? And, well, the lady that was there said, well, not to me. So she says, so I don't really know. So, and so that's when Sal actually reached out and got the numbers so we can start contacting them, not just about that, but also the road. So, but yeah, so I'll be reaching out to them to make sure that they understand that we do have a franchise agreement with Republic, and then they need to, while they're probably getting it through Front Tree or probably a little less, they still have to abide by the city ordinance, I guess. So,
they're tearing up
We
a,
have to have also Republic.
I'm sorry.
Does the county, when they're here, they have their own, because I'm not gonna.
I don't, the thing is about
It's just a question, I don't
yeah,
know.
I think the issue with county is that even though the property is inside the city limits, it's really county property. It's not city property. So they can pretty much bring in, even like Texas Grime or anybody that they'd like to. So yeah, that's kind of my understanding, because they say, well, we're inside, but it is county property because
Because I
it's,
figure they
yeah.
might have somebody else.
Yeah. But I think they use Republic. I think the last time I saw the blue bin there, unless somebody else has blue bins, but I think they had a blue bin the last time they had.
I see
Yeah.
the big public, but-
Yeah.
Is Texas Grime on a franchise?
No, I think our franchise agreement with Republic is from certain
Well,
It depends on how many cubic.
right
yards
cubic
there are.
yards. The smaller ones there is no. We can use like anybody else with the smaller bins.
So that 4% you already included in the budget.
No, not on this one. This is current.
But the franchise fee is included in the garbage one
Yeah, it's
already?
right there. It's,
Yes.
is it 12
Oh, yeah.
12,500.
Yeah.
So already ahead of the game.
Can we increase the franchise fee? Since they're increasing it on us. Can we-
Because that might go up to what, maybe a couple
4%?
thousand?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. I hate to pick on the small mom and pop places. They just pay regular, city garbage, like these little pop-up places?
They should be under business. Well, that's another thing that's sort of on kind of finding out slowly is just.
They just use a regular bin and it's commercial, basically it's commercial.
But then when that, and it gets tricky because Republic is very black and white about what commercial is and when you have a bin or when you have a dumpster. And when you have the bins, they don't really do commercial, they might have to do some extra work in there, but it's, because, and I get it, maybe some of the businesses don't need a dumpster, they're not that big, they don't get that much trash, so we're trying to find that balance, we don't want to over-regulate, but we also want to make sure that we're doing everything that goes on.
On that note, Owl Square, they got that dumpster there from Republic, and that's a pre-fall for everybody. Can we shut it off, like, when Little League's not using it?
Well, it should be locked at all times.
It's open.
It's
I
open?
just saw it
Okay.
yesterday.
I
It's
see
a
people
pre-
throwing stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pre-fall, right?
They need to
Throw
keep
stuff
it
in
locked.
We used to lock it.
Yeah, there should be a lock on there and it should be locked unless
It's a Little League, dumpster.
the one that's
They
over
use
there
it
by the.
year-round, don't they?
Well, yeah.
They were using it.
Just a note there, because it was open.
Becoming a problem, you open it and close it.
I know that one of the things that, I can't remember, one of the other cities was, I talked to them about their garbage. And they had to actually pass a resolution because there was some small businesses that it was cheaper to get 3 trash cans at the residential rate than to actually get a small dumpster for them. So so they had to go and pass an ordinance where if you had a business, you couldn't go out and get 3 trash cans because, you're only paying, what's the fee for trash can for like?
Well, it's like an extra, like $10, $11 extra, each extra.
Right. So they were doing, some of the smaller businesses were doing that. And said, well, I'll just get 3 trash cans because getting the dumpster, you have to pay the monthly fee plus, the pickup fee. And so, if that's something that's happening around, we might have to look at that later. Yeah, I don't know, like some of the small,
And then also, maybe I'm not thinking of it correctly, but let's say like the coffee shop and the business next to it, right? And, well, there's 3 businesses right there, right? So if they actually were forced to get a dumpster, where would you put it and how would they get to it? Right now, they probably have bins that they just sort of roll out to the front for this to
Mhm.
get up there. I don't, like I said, we want to do the right thing, but we also don't want to over-regulate. That's just my opinion. And ultimately, y'all can decide if you want to pass it on that stuff.
well, I think that if it's becoming a problem, I don't think that it's a problem right now, but I know that that was something that is, and it's not, our town's pretty small and we don't really have a whole lot of, but we do need to make sure that the city bins are secured so people aren't using.
Also depends on how much garbage they're dumping. Like at the apartments, we had trash cans before and they were consistently overflowing. So they contacted the city and called us and we had to switch to a dumpster.
Right.
Because there was way too much trash.
Right,
Yeah.
counter that, yeah.
So that's how we, got a dumpster.
Right.
But if it's a small business and
Yeah.
They're fine.
they're not overflowing, trash is not all over the place. Like I think Snappy's was one that we were having trouble with. Trash is all over the place.
Oh, yeah, with their dumpster wasn't big enough for the amount of trash that.
Yep.
You never see their trash cans overflowing. They look like.
It'll be pretty obvious if there's an issue.
Yeah, I just,
I'm a little afraid about that 4% for our residents, but it is what it is. I know we passed a resolution.
Yeah, so.
It's
and
just like the mayor said, we can try to avoid a lot of that now because of the ordinance. Because I think I'd rather pay the extra 50 cents now instead of $10
Yeah.
later on. But
Like that increase that we did last year would have stung us had there been just progressive
Yeah.
increase
Yeah.
over the years. And yes, you're gonna have people upset. I mean, I get upset too, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The city has to make, the costs go up for us too.
Yeah.
You know, it's cost of, like, it all goes down, even down to the employee. It's like, we're trying to keep good employees employed, so we have to try to pay a reasonable wage, and then, of course, the electricity for us goes up, and the water we use goes up, and um, supplies, equipment, repairs, everything just goes up, so it just trickles down and up.
Yeah, I think that our focus needs to be on not raising taxes is
Yes.
where we need to be
You cannot raise taxes, but,
and still be able to run an efficient and well-managed city. I think that's where we need to kind of focus, like be able to hold back on raising taxes for.
Yeah.
But-
so can you tell us how many, so is Jerry the only one that's hitting that system, huh? Is he the only one? How many water,
Nigeria
or
and
all the water department?
There's, I would say, so like if, Sanchez, Victor, Jerry, Kyle. See, like Jerry, Victor, Kyle, I would say they're like, like 80-20.
Okay.
Like 80 system, 20 other things, because all our guys are kind of
But their
split.
salaries are hitting the system fund?
I think it's just,
I think it's just Jerry and Angela,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
Miser and
Okay.
Angela.
Yeah.
But I think, so the issue was the way the budget was set up and the way Encode is set up, they don't quite match up. And the coding should have been redone. And we could do that journal entry to make the coding match.
and I think it's a little easier now that we upgraded.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Well, I've seen some difference on the reports that Gabby sends. They're a little easier to read, and the description on some of the, expenses is a lot easier to read, and okay, so this was here. So, I mean, I think that y'all are starting to use the encode, you're kind of expanding the use of it. So, that really helps. It makes it a little easier to read.
And I thought, also helping that someone has the accounting expertise, someone with that kind of,
Yeah.
that kind of mindset, that it really does make Incode easier to use and to be able to look at it, go, you should probably do it this way, or probably should use this way.
Yeah.
So, it's very helpful.
Okay, so let's kind of move on. I think that with the garbage fund, I know that we passed that ordinance, but I think the council, I mean, I think we should really at some maybe consider, can we just maybe a resolution that's for the next year not to increase it if we're able to do it. I mean, that's something that you're gonna have to share with us. I mean, because I know that this year we have an increase in the ambulance service. I mean, we have an increase and we don't get anything from the ambulance service. That's all expense, so, and then we have, increase with Republic, then we have that Parker.
It's all right.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's some things that, some expenses that we're gonna have over the next 2 years, so.
I mean, there's sort of again, going back to just, I mean, not that I believe you should run government like a business necessarily, but when you talk about, we pay Republic, for the services they provide, the customer pays us. The black and white is if they increase it, we pass that on to the customer, but I understand what you're saying, if we can avoid that. But just, what that means is that the city is basically eating the increase.
Yeah.
And then that eats up.
Yeah.
Possibility of improving an area,
Well, especially when we're already looking at, I mean, the last 2 years, we've transferred money from the garbage fund into, I think the system fund, is that what,
Yes.
to kind of cover the difference? So we're already using the garbage fund to kind of subsidize loss in another area, so just,
And then we don't have anything allocated to like wages for garbage. And the guys are having to go out there to the landfill
Yeah.
a few hours every day. So really there should be cost associated with that.
well, I mean, we also handle all the complaints, most of the complaints. My trash can got
Yeah.
got totaled, they're calling the city hall and say, I need a new trash can. So, and I noticed that they brought, they left, the maintenance shop has a lot of newer trash cans. And I don't know if they brought some new ones because our maintenance guys have been replacing them. And then,
Yes, yeah, in fact, I even had to get involved in the situation because we had an upset customer, and that was to make sure it got done quicker, because, public can only come out so many times. That
Yeah.
we just sort of switched out. I said, just take one of ours, take it to the customer, and then make sure that we're recording that to our public so that they replace our cans that are there.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps them.
yeah, and that's, for some of y'all that don't know, we kind of got, because Republic contracts out the trash cans, it's a different company. So what we ask is that they just bring us some newer trash cans and we leave them at the maintenance shop. So like that, when a person calls the city hall and says, hey, the machine came and just totally destroyed my trash can, instead of waiting for them to come around and replace all the old ones, we just say, well, just leave it out and we'll replace it. So either one of our maintenance guys will just load one of those trash cans in the truck, take it, and when we have a bunch of old beat up ones, we just call them to come pick them up. So it just makes it a lot easier and makes the customer happy. So
So, if we're contracted through Republic, why can't our customers call Republic?
Turn your microphone.
Oh.
Sorry, just tell me.
I said, if we're contracted with Republic, why can't our customers call Republic and pick up that labor? Or are we having to eat that on our side? If we're paying for a service that
So,
technically we should be getting, every call we get is really, I mean, we're doing,
Like the mayor says.
We're doing
Comes back to the
response
city
time.
anyway.
It's a
Okay.
response time, I think, is what the
Yeah.
mayor's talking about. Because they take for maybe a week by time.
yeah, because they
So
only
like if you call, and here's what I'm just seeing. So the people, so no one, like, okay, example, so we won't know, sometimes someone will say, well, they pick up my trash Friday, it's Tuesday. I'm like, okay, Friday would have been great, there's a situation where someone had put in a request to get their trash can replaced. They were supposed to come out on Wednesday. They didn't tell us till the following Tuesday. And that was the one that said, well, we have some over here, we'll just do that. But what it boiled down to was they were putting a trash can on the wrong side of the street. And Republic's very, if it's not there, I move on kind of thing. Us kind of being in the middle a little bit helps just alleviating extra work, because if they call Republic, they're very black and white. With us, at least we can find sort of workarounds and resolutions to,
But you're
satisfy.
not getting local.
What's that?
You're not getting Republic over here. You're getting Republic up the country somewhere. It goes to a call center.
it goes
If you go to,
Oh.
if you call Republic, it goes to a call center.
And we have,
Oh.
You
we talk
know
to
their
reps.
numbers there.
Oh,
Yeah, we have direct contacts with people who specialize, like,
Okay.
like for the sludge or for the replacing.
But the public won't.
And it's gonna have a big hassle because, like I said, I mean, I've called Republic about changing trash cans, and they said, "Oh, well, we contract that out. Those aren't our trash cans. They're our subcontractors' trash cans. So we contract that out." So he said, "But we'll let them know, and then they'll say, okay." The guys from the other company will call and say, "We'll be there on Monday." So anybody who has but then you got to get that information out to the public to leave their beat up trash cans on the curb on Monday so they can be changed. But if that doesn't get to them, well, then, they call back, well, you said they were going to replace them, and they haven't replaced them yet. So, well, did you put them out on Monday? Well, I didn't know I was supposed to put them out on Monday. So,
Okay.
it just
We
kind
may
of,
get calls that, I've tried to, I try not to get so much in the weeds, but it just happens where someone called and, it's already 1 o'clock, they haven't picked up my garbage, I usually pick it up at 9, and I was just like, sir, they're not always on time.
Different
Something happens.
drivers.
Well, I'm just worried because if they don't pick it up, and that's kind of hard to gauge, and just like,
Yeah.
but these are the calls that I'm taking, so I'm just trying to get staff more trained to be able to,
Yeah.
hey, can work this out with them, so I know that, but people are just, they're persistent.
Yeah.
How about the brush pickup? I know we have a customer that is they pick up
There's all sorts of different. Yeah, there's. Right. So in that situation, and that's where
I was asking you, how to just communicate with us and let them know. So they're basically, they're sinking things to choose, and there's a wire that's been there, electrical wire, and this is the first time they're not picking it because we could potentially cause an issue. After figuring out like why was that wire falling down, it's just safety concerns, we need to be more cautious, so we can get out of resolution because it's expensive. Service. So we need to find some of the customers. Satisfied. So, I would say, like I said, we're looking at ourselves to figure out how to do that. It's simple like that. So, we're getting better. As well. It's difficult. There is some responsibility in the customer side. You have to educate yourself. Things change, so maybe website, unfortunately, we don't have a public information service. They're always just communicating on Facebook and getting stuff out. Personal residents do like on social media or someone tries to make us. So I'm here to tell you,
Well, I think I agree with I agree with the councilman Dominguez that we need to increase the franchise fee. If we're doing all that legwork for.
Well, it's
But if there is a rate increase. So my question would be is, would,
Is that on here, okay?
no, I did, you know, but I can get a copy of this. So I would wonder if a business type place is using residential land, if Republic may say, we're not picking that up because you're not paying the right fee or whatever for business, not residential.
Man, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if that's happening.
They're going to the garbage still.
Residential, so the one can is 2140. The increase would be $1.04. And that's,
I think it's 1 point. It's,
oh, the percentage?
percentage.
Oh,
We know.
1.14, okay. An increase of.
This is less.
86 cents, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sweet.
Okay, I see it.
And like you said, we just round up to $1.
Yeah, I know that it's been like the norm here, it's always been rounded up. Alright, that's not too bad. That's 1.4%.
Yeah, I got a really little pain down.
Especially when I didn't realize there was so much labor. I know that last year, probably some of these, like over here, we have some of these alleyways that people live in. Well, they stopped picking up trash in those alleyways because of the power line. So now they have to carry their trash all the way to the curb. Like over there where the laundromat is, those people that live in those alleyways, they could think, it's the same.
Well, now they should go there and pick up with them truck.
That's what you said, the power lines.
Yeah, they say the
Well,
power line.
Pickup or something.
So,
And haul that, are you serious?
so they have to haul like out here, especially on this
The
side,
trash or the brush?
the trash, garbage, because they gotta pick it up and pull it up, and there's power lines that go. But they've always picked it up. When I first started, they were picking them up, and then they
Yeah,
send us a
we gotta
letter,
take the truck.
and said, we're not big. So we had to go and let them know that they needed to pull their trash. And some of those people are like elderly people. So,
There've been other changes where, like, I want to say like, on Bethel Veterans area, the people that we service out there, that, the Republic wanted all the trash cans on one side. Of course, that caused an issue with some residents who had to actually move their trash cans and cross the street.
So at that point, we have a contract and agreement with them. Somewhere down the line, they've got to pick up that extra because it's their contract to us. So at one point, they were picking it up. I used to see a truck go through there all the time. So at what point do they allow to change that contract or at least fulfill that contract? A different way is the additional expense should be on them, not on our customer. Our customer now is having to take that to the end of the road every morning, or well, on Fridays.
yeah.
But still, like to the mayor's point, some of us are elderly on that road. I don't know, maybe you can address it this coming time, see what they can do. How do other cities do it? Do they have the same situation or you don't know?
I'm not completely positive, but I mean, I would just assume that if you're not dialing it that kind of specific into your contract, if they're kind of these broad things that they can make these sort of changes and.
Right.
And they did say it's a safety, that these changes were safety issue based. They were just, after some assessment, I'm assuming they had some sort of assessment and probably said, hey, we probably shouldn't be doing that. It's like, we'll come across stuff and it's like, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing that. That might be a safety issue that they thought about it, And then of course those changes get trickled down and of course that causes, what some could call inconvenience,
Yeah.
Is that the only place where you're talking?
There was a
There's one
couple
over
other
here
spots where
too, between Baylor and Turner. There's
Mm-hmm.
an alleyway there too, that there's like multiple houses that use the alleyway as and they have to pull their trash out to the curbs also.
But if there's power lines or something across there, like internet or spectrum or whatever, and they break that line, who's responsible? That's,
Yeah. Well, I think that's the reason.
and that's why that's why Republic's probably asking them to bring them
And I
out,
don't know,
because there's nothing.
I'm not saying it did happen, but if it did happen somewhere, within the company, like, hey, we gotta make changes, we can't have that happen again.
It might have, I mean, I don't know how, remember the old trucks where they had to roll the trash can to the back, hook it, and they would dump it? And then they went from those to the side ones now that actually pick it up, go up, 12, 13 feet in the air, dump it, and then put it back. Maybe that's why, I mean, they did it before, but now, like I said, last year, I think it was that they said,
So
no,
maybe
we have to
for
pull.
those residents, there's a different pickup system, because I've seen a truck with a smaller dumpster on the back. They can come and just pick up everybody's trash in that alley. That way it's on them, not on our customers, not on our residents. But I don't know, it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like it's a big problem, but still, if it was me, oh my God.
And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
You're gonna raise it too, they're gonna say, well, we're still doing more than what we're getting.
and don't get me wrong, I don't want anyone to get the impression that Republic is a pain to deal with. They're not.
No,
This is like 10%, but for me, in the workings of my day at least, and I'm just trying to get staff trained up so that I don't have to deal with some of the stuff that I end up dealing with. But also, there are times when Republic does stuff for us that they don't charge us for, that they rightfully should be charging us for, but they really do work with us in a lot of stuff. They've been really good to us on a lot of stuff and cut us pretty good deals.
Yeah.
And then when they make mistakes, they will rectify them, and they're not saying we're going to charge you more. So they've come back. Like I think some customers did call back just in time. Well, no, you know what it was? I think it was on Monday this week. The whole street really did get picked up.
Yeah, it was Humphreys, and then out there where Jesse lives, where Cassandra lives,
Oh, yeah.
they didn't pick up trash
I
there.
think that was Monday, so then I think
They
Mary
have
might
to
have
come
reported
back.
that to me.
Yeah.
And, we got Republican, they said, okay,
They send a truck out here.
This is-
And they should know, because I talked to one of the garbage guys at my house, and they have a GPS system and it tracks where they go. So they know where they didn't go, So that's probably why they just, yeah, they have a GPS system, so that even new drivers, they shouldn't forget. But sometimes they might go to the end of the road and then turn left instead of right, or coming back around, and then they just miss the opposite side of the road. But they have like a GPS system, so they can go on there. And when I called, I think you guys called them, and yeah, they had missed all of East Humphreys out here. So That is in
They
the
also
truck.
have, they also have cameras on
Mm-hmm.
on there. So like, if a customer said, they didn't pick up my trash can, well, the Republic will, no, we went by there, the trash can wasn't there. And those, there's timestamps, like, we went there at 9 o'clock, you know, and then sometimes they said, we'll send them out again. So there've been times we said, we'll send them out again. Happened to get, I sent it out, like, no, you put it out there, because
Yeah.
here's a timestamp, you know, so that's the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not, I don't want anyone thinking it's like a huge problem, it's just extra stuff that they do.
All right, so where are we here? So that's the garbage. So you want to kind of go over the municipal court, and then we'll go to the next page. I think the only thing coming out of municipal court is the judge and Epi, right?
And then,
Is part of,
the clerk, but, so, on here, the way Encode is set up, these are just coming from, what we get in from, how Fund View is coded. And then we put the entries into Encode, and it's coming into this fund. But all of our expenses, everything that goes out, is going from the general fund. These really need to be combined or pulled apart.
And that's something we're going to
Or
be
set up
working
in a
on
different
next
way.
year. I might be jumping ahead, but I know one of the asks for the municipal court is to get their case management system in Encode.
Good.
FundView,
Right.
it's a
It's
separate
not
system. It probably,
compatible.
I mean, honestly, it should have never happened.
No.
But there is a financial aspect of the municipal court in Encode, so that's there. So we want to combine the two so they talk to each other, and we're not having to pull data from here to here. So that's jumping ahead.
and I think the judge is more familiar with Encode. She's really not real familiar with
Mhm.
Fund,
Yeah, her,
Fund View.
Yeah.
So-
In her full-time job as the municipal court in Aransas Pass, they use Encode, it's the management system and the financial. You know, ideally, you know, if there's an expense, say the clerk needs to order some office supplies, well, ideally, she should be able to put some, you know, generate a requisition or a purchase order in Encode. Goes to the system, gets approved, you know, then she makes the purchase and all the paper trails in there, and all the back ends are uploaded and attached to, you know, in the system, so they have one, you know, click to look at a file. That's the efficiency of the office. And record keeping for audits and stuff like that.
So all this is from all papers that tickets and.
This revenue.
No, that's from, that's current stuff that's coming out of, and this isn't showing the full year. They have not all been entered.
Yeah, I mean,
But this is revenue from court costs, seatbelt cost, all the, like the fines that people are paying. And some of those go into certain funds where, like the security fund. And I think really we should have multiple municipal court funds.
So if the sheriffs are getting tickets, they're coming here.
no, they're going to the county, right, yeah. No,
And some of this stuff is,
these
like,
are,
old.
yeah, these are,
Well, that's what
money
I'm saying,
coming.
it's some-
yes. So any stand, these are basically generated from cases that are getting resolved, where people are coming in and paying their fines. So that's just kind of, I guess, showing you the judges working, you know, they're getting some stuff done, and then people are calling in, because they're calling just to pay their fines, they're calling to a clerk, municipal court clerk, so that revenue's still being generated. And we're finally dialing down on, you know, because we do have municipal court fund, what is it, 250 on there, the balance, what we have in that bank account. So what we also found was that there were other aspects that we weren't transferring because it was coming out of full cash, like child safety. There's like,
Security and technology.
well, that would stay there. And then but we should be reimbursing the city because it's coming out of, we're paying the state, but it's coming out of full cash, right?
Right.
So when we do that, we should be transferring money back from the court to full cash. Because all the revenue is being deposited into the court fund. So, like I said, we're finally getting a little closer to, getting closer to the idea of what general funds in court can we use, for general purposes.
So let me ask, when you do that in Encode, you pay the state through pool cash, then you reimburse it. How does the reimbursement show on Encode? Because I see the expenses going out, but where does the reimbursement show in Encode?
It should show as like a due to pool cash, and a due from, like Encode's, I think the issue is we've got, at the bank, we've got just like one account, or we've got multiple accounts, whereas Encode, we've just got the one account, so they're not able to match up or reconcile because we've got so many different ones. Really, we need to have one bank account and use pooled cash, or not use pooled cash in Encode, and not we need to be writing checks from each account.
Right. But I don't think those accounts have checks. Like the municipal
Some of
court,
them
I think the
do, but-
EDC is the only one that has their own checking account. So
It would be really hard for
uh,
like some of the expenses, like maybe the internet, where it's like, well, some of that is municipal, some of that's, library, some of that's fire department, and having to like split it through the different ones.
Yeah, ideally, I mean, like I said, the long-term goal is to just have one big bank account for pulled cash that would basically, we pay all these expenses, but in Encode, they're generated
Right.
properly. Like we're hitting the court to pay this, right? But the check comes from full cash, right?
Right.
But the records here, so we know what we spent and what we didn't.
Well, I think that if y'all, once you combine and start, like the municipal court, once it gets moved into Encode and out of the other system, I think at that point, probably what we need to kind of start working on making that change altogether. So,
Yeah, and just to catch you up, so, we're basically on the tail end of the full upgrade in Encode. I think we just got the credit card machines yesterday. So that's cool too, because now we're not quite there yet, but the idea is that any type of payment that the customer makes, whether it's rentals, permits, they can use the card. Right now, it's only, they have to punch in the card and they can pay your bill. Everything else is cash or check for everything else. And, that was kind of my perk was that, I rarely carry cash. And when I pay my bills, I like to just swipe or pay. And then also we have our online is going to come. Is that the we're still online payment?
We're going to be getting the online payment and the website, and we're also going to be getting a phone number, a 1-800 number, and that's where all payments will be. If you want to call in and make a payment, you can call the 1-800 number anytime, and you can also check your balance.
Anytime. Right now,
We're waiting on getting that number, and hopefully a way to, like, if someone calls and says, I want to make a payment, we've got to have a way to where we can transfer the line to the 1-800 number.
What's the charge?
what was it, was it percentage, or was it 2, 3?
I'm going to say it was 2.5.
It was
Or-
2.5,
Or I think, yeah, and I think it's a little bit, it's like I think maybe 2.6 and like 2.65 if it's not for water, like if it's for renting the community center.
And right now, when you punch a customer's card, what's the rate?
I think it's like 6,
High.
5 or 6. It's high.
And it'll be a $2.50, I think, minimum fee. So if you're just,
Now, the only caveat is that our kiosk is no longer going to be operational.
The what?
The kiosk.
Oh, no, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, but we won't be able to use it because we use AdComp for that. So,
so you said that so when they pay their bill with a credit card, whether online or in the office, it's going to register in Encode.
Mhm.
Perfect.
that's
Nice.
directly into it. Yeah. Right now, it's AdComp dump the data into Encode. So there's, again, efficiency, right?
Yeah.
So, but But yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. So the customers will be able to pay 24/7, so we don't have to wait till 8 o'clock, 8:30, for the bill, you know. Now, as far as the, when the payment posts, we still gotta figure that part out, 'cause I know there's a little lag time. And unfortunately, some people will pay right before the cutoffs. And then there's been situations where they paid and they got cut off. So we're trying to find that. I think I had a meeting I did have a meeting on Friday with staff, and I said, we'll just push cutoffs maybe 2 more days, just to get some time for posting. But we're just encouraging residents to just try to make that payment on time, so avoid the extra fees and avoid getting cut off.
So whether you pay it online or pay it here, the charge is the same.
With credit card, yes.
So I think maybe you can look into, like you said, if they call the city hall and say, if you're gonna, to pay your water bill, press
And go straight to
1, and it goes to the 1-800 number instead of to somebody here that has to transfer them, so.
Yeah, because then
Some
it will alleviate a lot of the phone calls.
Yeah.
And just checking the balances, because a lot of people just call in just to see their balance.
And Donna, you need to change the times on the,
Oh, the voicemail or the prompt, probably, probably operational hours. Probably
What time?
the operational hours. Remember the recording you did for
Okay, because I put what you have on the sign.
no, the voicemail, when you called into City Hall, remember you did the thing?
I will do that.
Okay.
But then I guess the library would still be,
Yeah, her hours are still the same.
because you changed them, right? You changed
Right,
it,
yeah.
and the people still calling.
I know, but, you know,
I didn't want to say it.
it's that, but.
I
you know,
called over there, like,
But
can't you call?
even I'm
Yeah.
honest with you, like, so in the office, I mean, even like the staff are, you can tell that they're concentrating, you know, getting the office open and getting it closed, you know, the phone's not ringing off the hook, because some people just 4:30, ring, and they're trying to close their cash and they don't need till 5:30.
All
they would
right,
need to figure
so,
out the answering
Question.
service.
So do we still have the impound money?
Yes, so I got,
Where is it?
I got- over, I don't think it's in here. Is it okay? It might be under the police, if there's a municipal.
It's under- I thought it was under the court, no?
Well, it doesn't show up, because this is just the revenue and expenses, so it would show up just on the balance sheet, and I don't have that part printed out.
And so that kiosk, do we rent it or we bought it?
I think we bought it.
I think it
Yeah,
municipal court bought it.
Do we sell it back?
We can see, and
You can sell it.
see if someone buy it. Or
My
sell it,
idea was
see if
put an
another city-
ATM in there and then get money
But that one was
from
good,
an
because
ATM
the
rental.
way that the gentleman was talking about that, so that if we ever get a police department back, they can pay to the kiosk. And they press the ticket out and everything. Has better features, but it's probably gonna be old by then,
I was
right?
gonna say.
It's probably outdated. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think I hear it a few times a week, honestly, because I'm right there.
So,
People looking for it coming in and paying.
Yeah,
so the,
Dropping it.
we're
the,
dropping it.
the 20,000 that we have in impound, you ever,
33.
oh, 33,000.
Yes, 33,000. So I got quotes to repave or to pave the back area. And one was about 13,000 more than that. To get
Okay,
it all completely paved. So I'm just sort of like, just mulling it over. But I do want to use that for that, because that's what it's for, to improve the impound yard.
okay,
So that's, I think I ran that by you a couple minutes ago. But
Okay.
I'm just, I got a couple of quotes for it. They're a little higher than expected, so I need to just try to negotiate with them and see what I can get. I mean, if I gotta pay a little bit more to get it completely paved, because the quote, and even the quote I got for the extra 13 was only like maybe 70% of the yard.
okay.
So, I'm just trying to, I would love to just get it all just paved, because our guys have to go over there and backfill, and there's the growth, and then, our EMS use that.
So is there limitations of what you can use that money for there at the police department?
The impound money? Yes, it's only for impound improvements.
Mhm.
Okay.
So anything like, so that is an improvement to the yard, and that's what I want to extend.
There you go.
Just
Okay.
to kind of close it out.
All right.
But like I said,
I
it's
think
just,
it could be more broad,
it's all
but we're
there.
Can you-
going to forfeiture reports.
I don't even, probably don't have any money, to put like new car sheds where those cars are sitting there.
Yeah.
Out there in the back,
Yeah.
those, well, see, so those.
Some good
So
things
that-
just to keep them out of the elements.
The only thing is the Tahoe is what we'd have. I don't think it's allowed. the white vehicle is there for option, but when you're talking about over here, yeah, because we have our city vehicles here, we have the ones that we use daily to go and run errands and stuff, and then we have the Durango that's being used for code enforcement. So, but yeah, I could look into it. Okay.
I just like put that corner over there for the cars. And then I can use it too, so. Well, yeah,
You don't have to fight for
Sure, you
whoever
said barbecue or
parks
something.
in the shade.
I'm thinking outside the box. I can wash my car underneath it. I got a hose that's long enough.
Okay.
It's not like that.
So, I think we were talking about doing this also, I mean, there's, again, this sort of goes into the asks, right? I mean, so we're gonna look at increased costs for, court, but on the other side is it's gonna be more efficient, we'll have better, hold on the finances. With code enforcement now in operation, you know, we are working as much as we can with residents, we're gonna give them at least 1 to 2 warnings, depending on the severity of the situation, but there will be citations, I imagine.
And they gotta come pay them for that, that might start increasing the,
Right.
So does that code enforcement salary come out of this one?
It'll come out of the, we're hitting the police budget that,
Right.
you know, still there, because we still have to pay electric and all those things that come out of that budget, and it's a split, so. Yeah, so you'll see, you should see, we're asking for an increase, or we're gonna see if we can find it within the budget first, but there may be an ask for an increase because we want, right now, we have them for a contract till September 30th.
Right.
And then we'd like to renew it, you know, if everything goes well, but I'm.
Would it fall under the court?
It would follow, we probably would put it under police. Because we have a, again, it's this income.
Line item.
It's a line item, basically, you know.
But eventually, wouldn't you show a negative then? If you put it under police?
It depends on what's left, like, because last year we budgeted in that area, right?
Right.
In general, it was budgeted, right? So we still had a police financial department, you know, for electric bill, other things like that.
I mean, you'll have no additional revenue coming in there, but you will in the court.
Right.
You'll have additional revenue, or you should.
Well, here's the thing, so if it's all in the general, we can move money if we need to. But the initial goal is to just, you know, make sure it's funded, and we can say, okay, we have enough money in court, we have enough money in the police line item, that we can kind of, you know, we need to move money around. So we want to prepare as much as possible for October 1st to know, okay, so for example, you know, we're,
So since it's a department, it doesn't really need money to operate. Like the system, it does need money to operate. Whereas we're not trying to make money from the police department or the EMS department, you know, or library, street. Those are funded by taxes.
So here's an example. So like we need to figure out next year, we'll probably spend, I don't know, 11,500 to 12,000 to cover a part-time code enforcer. So we'll just need to figure out like where we're gonna put it. 'Cause, I mean, I'm not saying we could not put it under the court, you know, line item, but it's just, we're allowing Betsy to say like, you know, where's the best spot to put it so we can track it better.
Right.
So it'll be in there trackable. But that's what I'm saying, like, so when we are preparing for October 1st to have, or at least mid-September, fingers crossed we're passing the budget, y'all see that in there, that we're prepared to cover that cost. Okay. We just, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you can always move money around, but we want to kind of just prep it as much as we can so we don't have to do as many line item changes. But
Right.
So let's move on to where we revenue summary, I guess.
So this is general fund. This is the summary of the general funds. So this is showing our, like, so it's more broken down than the other one that we were looking at earlier.
Going through the financial part, the year to date.
Page. This is like the second page.
It should be, yeah, page, it's the second page one. Yeah. Yeah. Page one, part two.
This is the part that should be paper clipped. So these are gonna break down what each, the first page will be your financial summary, and the next page will be, I believe it's the detail under each, the breakdown of what's underneath taxes, penalties, and interest. Which, well, would be street maintenance tax, current taxes, delinquent taxes, penalties, interest, city sales taxes, the EDC, and then street maintenance. And that EDC goes in and then it goes out.
So one of the things that we're gonna have to, I guess, budget, have a budget, an increase is for the ambulance, right? I mean,
Mhm.
because there's gonna be an additional, huge additional cost to.
And then if you'll notice on this page that I think it's the street.
I think we're still just reviewing, are we still like item review year to date, right? We're still reviewing year to date numbers?
Yes. I guess we've kind of touched.
Yeah, we've kind of crossed into three a little bit already, so, yeah. So, expenditures, again, the parentheses in expenditures is actual, a positive, not a negative, right?
On expenditures, that means we're over
Right,
budget. So we're
so-
73,000 over on street. And the reason for that is because we've got salary that we put into system, where it should be to system according to the budget, but in Encode, it's showing up in street.
Okay,
So it's putting street way over on expenses and it's putting system way under.
So it's an administrative issue, not a financial one.
so
So,
we'll be able to correct that? I mean,
We can do a journal entry to correct it, or we could, and then going forward, we need to, I guess we need to make sure what way is the way we want to see it. Is it, should we have more of the street guys, their salary allocated to system?
my,
Because they're working in both.
my understanding is that we
Yeah.
couldn't pay salaries out of street funds, like the actual money that we get. So to me, I'll rely on her expertise, but ideally, we want to just kind of keep that straight. It would just be supplies, equipment, anything else that applies other than actual
the salaries.
And I think,
Right, contract work, but not salaries. We just pick that up. If they're, and that's when it gets kind of tricky, because you have, like Jerry Sanchez, right? So, there's a lot of times he's just working leaks and stuff. And then maybe there'll be like a week or two where he's just hitting the streets and getting potholes with the guys. So, I don't think it's not gonna be perfect, and we don't want to dial too down where we're saying, okay, 70%'s over here, 20%'s over here. It gets complicated. But
So I
that's the
think,
stuff we're trying to figure
I
out.
think you're right, but to the mayor's point and Jess's point, y'all can decide where that needs to go. I can only assume and guess where it's gonna go.
Right, yeah.
But once y'all decide where that goes, it's real easy to say, well, we'll just transfer. But the less transferring you do, I think it's better,
Yes.
and it doesn't get so confusing. And that way, the next time you do the budget, you're done, you're set.
Right.
But you tell us where you think, this needs to go. But yeah, I can see where it can get very confusing. You move money here or there. It's really not a negative.
60% here, 20%
Yeah.
here, instead like.
I remember back in the days, that used to happen. I was like, well, why is that salary broken up like that? Like 30, 20 or whatever it is.
Yeah. No, I'll be honest, this is kind of where, it's kind of funny, but this is where her and I have these discussions, because, she's an accounting person, right? So in accounting world, that's what you're supposed to do. But my thing is like, all right, that's just too much work, man. Like,
Yeah.
if you had a whole department and team, I'd say, yeah, let's have that, because you have different people for different departments. That's how large organizations work.
Right.
But it's just her and Gabby. You know, Gabby is just accounts payable, you know, and then Angela just does accounts receivable, but, you know, the complicated stuff is just all on her, and, you know, we only have so many hours in the day. So,
Right.
you know, but then again, I kind of defer to her. I tell her, like, if that's what you need, and for us, and you think we're gonna be successful, then I'll support you.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think that just, Betsy, just tackling one thing at a time, say, okay, well, this year, I'm gonna try to get this maintenance stuff kind of, okay, how are we going to, manage that? Because a lot of stuff falls under miscellaneous stuff. And it's like, okay, well, what is miscellaneous? It's like everything, so
And
let's try to get away from
Yeah,
that.
and we've talked about this. She's pinpointed areas where it's like, we should have this, we should have that. I agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, like, for example, whenever we got reimbursed for getting our storm drains,
Yeah.
cleaned up and stuff, it was, where does that go?
Hmm.
And we were like, we had that discussion. It's like, well, it's kind of like a grant, right? And then, then I just deferred to the accounting part, like, how do you account for that in the accounting world, And so she created, did you create something, a line item, right, or something?
We haven't put it in there yet, but I
Okay.
think it needs to show up. It needs to be a separate fund that shows that this money is available. That way, whenever we're like in
Wow.
budget time, then y'all can say, these are the projects that we need.
If you got
Worked
reimbursed,
on.
where did you pull it from?
It came out of pool cash. Yeah.
That's where you-
General fund.
Yeah, that's where,
Yeah.
that's where I would think, that's where.
But for planning purposes, y'all want to be able to say like,
Street
this
or.
needs to be done, this next year.
Like, like, at
And
the
then
end of the day, the pool
Put a hole in
cash gets reimbursed, right? So it
Yeah.
goes back to it. But in the accounting
System.
world,
Right.
it has to show it came in this way, came in that way.
Maintenance.
What is this? Is this a grant? And in the future, like, for example, so let's just say, like, right now we have a balance of 250,000 with the drainage district. It'll probably be 200 after we finish our ditch cleanup project, the new project we just started. But if October 1 we have that, then ideally we should have some sort of like grant, a line item in the department where we started off with 200,000, and it could be like grant drainage, right? And that shows all the ins and outs.
There you go. Yeah, so do you have a line for the drainage district now?
No, we don't
That's
have
where-
that.
They should.
It needs to be
But
Yeah,
like a
because that's where
fund,
they come
which
out.
it'd be probably 2 lines or.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, like, I know you don't want to get too far, we don't want to get too far in the weeds with y'all, but just to let you know, like, that's how complex and dialed down we're getting right now, to try to get this straightened out, because it's not, like, when I first started, I thought it'd be an easier fix, and then as I got wrapped my head around it, it's like, okay, you can't do this, you can't do that, okay, so what do we do? And then she came in and then she wrapped her head around it, and getting her hands dirty and stuff like that.
Well, I
So
think the
it's just-
biggest issue in the beginning, even with me when I started working on Encode, was there was a lot of tabs that were there, but they were dead. You could click them, but they weren't being used. And it's like the only tabs that were being used were really, the expense part of it. But when we were getting, like, for example, I just read in the paper the other day that I guess the county's going to reimburse all the cities that helped with the fire in Sinton, with the big fires in Sinton. So right away I started thinking, okay, so if they give the city of Odem, because I think it's like 20,000 or something for each city that helped, where's that money going to go? How's it going to be? How's it going to be put into our system? And what is it going to be? So I started thinking that, and I was going to meet with you guys afterwards, but so yeah, you guys really have to kind of work on, because we do get even like the check that we get from the county for mutual aid assistance. How is that process? Where does that go? And how is it spent? So, yeah, I understand, because, like I said, it was difficult having this whole system and not being able to use a lot of it, because, it was just not. Some of those tabs are mostly accounting stuff, and even like someone from myself, it was difficult to even understand. So having you and trying to streamline it, make it a little easier. It would definitely be easier for us to be able to see, okay, so this was money that came in, this was the expense that went out. Because I mean, I know we start looking, okay, well, we spent 50,000 for this, but don't we have, like drainage? Don't we have that money? Why are we using our own money? Because when y'all get it back, it doesn't show in what we get. So being able to set that up, whether it's a line item or a journal entry or something, so at least we know that we're getting reimbursed.
And that's to say that these are discussions we have, very often about, okay, what should it look like, right? And of course, like my litmus is basically like, let's not make it too complicated. I want to be able to do it the right way, but also just make it easy to understand. And report out, so.
Do you know when so each city's gonna get 20,000?
Well, I don't know if each season to get that that was something that was in the article that for every city that helped with the fire incident. And I don't know if it's going to be the county or if it's FEMA or whoever, but it was the art. I mean, you can probably read it. I didn't read the whole thing. I just really read the.
Well, Mayor, we get a stipend from the county regardless, because just stick
Right.
in there.
Right.
Don't we get a
So,
stipend from the county for fire?
yeah, for the mutual aid
Yeah,
assistance.
last year, y'all said y'all wanted pretty much all that to go towards the fire department.
Right, because they had some things that they needed to purchase, and we didn't want to make it our expense. So, but yeah, I don't know. You just have to read the article. I mean, it was on online, so I don't know if it's going to be every city's going to get the same or. So anyway, all right. So we're looking at. I guess we can move on. Do you want to just? Do you have any questions on the rest of the expense? And you want to move on to some expected cost changes.
Yeah, the next pages of these, they just show the detail behind those numbers. And then I can get you all copies of the detail of the detail. But it was like 700 pages long.
No.
Sure, yeah, I got it.
So-
Email it to me and I'll read them.
But if you're ever curious, like, what is
This
phone
is
sirens
I think
dispatch?
just for like for the sake of time, like we want to present just overview numbers in our meetings and stuff, and then if you want to get more detail, she can pull reports, whatever you're specifically looking for. She can email them to you. Just because I said there's a minimum, I've seen 30 pages on some of these reports that but then it's a lot easier just to scan, produce a PDF and give it to you.
well. The thing is with me, and I think I had this conversation with Betsy before. You can send those reports to me, but I'm going to need explanation.
Yeah.
So don't bother. Yeah, that's why sometimes we met and we put it on the screen there at City Hall, and we sit there and we go through them, and then I can ask, because I can sit here and look at this all day long, and I may not really find what I'm looking for. But if I sit down with y'all like I have in the past, and we put it up on the screen there at City Hall and say, okay, well, this is my question, where's that going and where's that coming from? And so, I mean, I don't want 700 pages or 30, not even 20 pages to go through. I'd rather just come and meet with y'all, and we can put it up on the board and go through it. So, okay, so expected cost changes. I think we've talked a little bit about that, but let's go ahead and kind of hit it again as an actual.
So there'll be a $72,000 cost increase for EMS for the Allegiance contract.
That's 72,000 for the year.
Yes, additional.
It'd be an increase on top of what we're paying now.
Oh, so this is an increase. This is not the
Yes.
total that we're gonna pay.
Right. Yeah. So we need $72,000 more to cover EMS costs next year.
Total on there.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's like 6,000 a month.
yeah. Because we're going from what to what? We were paying like,
200. It was 199. And it's be 271 next year.
Yeah, because we agreed that you remember we started like with a certain contract, and then it was sort of, it took us a while to get to it, and then like it changed, and we finally negotiated back to the original contract. We have a 5-year increase, which was, the best deal we're probably going to get,
right?
compared to, because what they were asking for was not anything different than any other company charging. And of course, the strength with Allegiance is that they're close by with mutual aid. So if there was something major that happened, that we would be able to get them out there a lot quicker.
And then, for the system fund, slash, it's like a capital project, we will have the $90,000 payment for phase 1 and phase 2 of the water meter project.
So we've been putting money aside every month. For
Good.
that fund, so.
Can we go back to one, A? I was just thinking, is there any way we could subsidize the EMS through something from the city's general fund? That the city needs it?
It's under the general fund.
It's underneath the general
It's
fund,
under
it's a
the-
department.
Like I'm saying, though, like we get a subsidy from the county, maybe we could use maybe 1,000 or something, because it's kind of,
To kind of offset this
yes,
extra.
does that make sense, Mayor? You know, something, because where do we get subsidy from the county fires? Because they do go help out. Mutual aid. No, not mutual aid, it's we get some kind of.
Yeah, it's like, I think it was
Like
like 50, I think it's like 50,000 total
Yeah,
for the year.
and it just goes into the general fund.
Well, last year y'all said for that 50 to go to the fire department.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all-
Okay, now can we put some of that, like maybe 25,000 to the EMS?
I'm with Jesse on that only because that increase.
That's a lot.
We have asked them to assist during fire calls.
Yep.
So I don't see why we would not be able to, and we could just explain to the fire department why we did it. I mean, it's part of, it's assisting them, the way I see it, but I'm with Jesse on that, yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It kind of gives it won't be that much of an impact on that.
$72,000 is a lot.
You should get half that stipend, maybe 25,000, and we'll help us out there, then we can bring down the.
Yeah, 50, 40 something.
Okay, so we can do that, right? But I want you to consider this. If everything's under general fund, whether you stick it here, there's still your number.
Yeah.
Okay? So that 50,000 from the county, give or take, right? That's coming to general fund, whether I stick it here, stick it there. Go general.
What I'm saying, when it comes down to the nitty gritty on the line items.
Yeah.
That's where we
Right.
could find that.
But in the event of some major issue with the fire department, I know this year, they've been really trying to upgrade their equipment and catch up with the stuff that they really were lacking. So Mary, you've probably seen a lot of expenses kind of come through.
And
So,
I
like,
understand what you're saying about the 50,000. It's gonna go here, it's gonna go there, but like Mayor said earlier, I mean, for us, we'll know, and
Yes.
we'll know exactly where that money's going.
Right.
And it just makes it look a lot easier for us, and we understand a little bit better than with your expertise and,
Sure.
you know.
So you were saying, I guess, let's say if it was,
Well, what then, like, for example, we're gonna budget for the ambulance. What is it gonna be? What will we need to cover for the year? 271,000.
right,
Okay. So that when we get the county, uh, 50,000, how can we take that half, that 25,000, and make it visible in that 271,000 to offset that additional cost?
Exactly.
How y'all do it, I don't care.
Yeah,
But
but let us see
But
what it's
let
going.
us show that, okay, 25,000 is going,
so we'll
To-
verify the like amount that we got last year, right? And then we'll decide on, we'll come up with a percentage that'll go towards the EMS, and then we'll present that to you.
Well, here again too, if say we get another $20,000, you said an extra
yeah,
stipend
from the ambulance.
that
I
can
mean,
help out too. That's $70,000. That almost offsets that
Yeah, because we know-
$72,000.
I know the ambulance was out there as well. Our ambulance was helping out there as well during those big fires. Most of the ambulance services were out there. So we can, I think, justify that we're going to use, like you guys said, a part of that to assist. But like I said, as long as how y'all do it doesn't matter. As long as we can see that that money was offsetting
It's not that big
that
old hit of
expenditure.
$72,000.
And I think that $200,000 is actually, we're showing as last year's budget wasn't last year's original budget. Because we took from the contingency.
Oh, yeah,
to-
because they
to get it
increased
to the
it, they increased
200.
it after we had already approved the budget, because we would have had to gone back and amend, and we didn't want to do that, so, yeah, I remember. So we'll just have to, like I said, I mean, somehow be able to show that we're offsetting that additional cost with these other,
Real quick, on page, this one, it says ambulance subsidy, 42,000, what is that? On the next clip here, the next big clip. Yeah, right there. What is that, where is it, other, what is that, $42,000?
Okay.
So your county ambulance subsidy, we can,
So the actual amount of the subsidy, 22-23 was 42,000. 23-24 was 35,000.
so that's a subsidy for the fire department, is that? It's just, it's not correctly.
The labeling is probably.
The label is that, okay. That's where you can find,
Yeah.
you can find,
Oh, yes, that's 518008.
So
Oh,
this,
802.
and this probably number isn't.
so it
No,
should
never
be
mind.
fire instead of ambulance, because we would never get a subsidy for the ambulance. Never. I don't think we've ever got one.
I don't think there's,
So that's this label right there, that's where we're, you know.
And you would think it'd be easy to just to go in there and change it.
Yes.
But it's not.
It's not.
If you do that, you basically like mess with all the records. for
We
that.
see, it's already fixed, so just put that money in the ambulance.
Right?
It's already fixed.
Hey, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's it,
Everything worked out.
yeah, it's fixed. There you go, put all that money in and.
So we would basically, I mean, there you go, right? So we would basically, when the county sends us that subsidy for.
25,000 in there?
Yeah, just take a percentage from there and dump it into this.
Yes.
And then we probably would need to create, if it's not already in here,
Fire department franchise.
well, see right there, you have intergovernmental.
Yeah, rural fire, yeah.
calls, right there, 50,000, so.
And you didn't get nothing last.
No,
We didn't get nothing.
Yeah, so again, this is where the encode issue comes into play, but, being able to wrap our heads around it, now we can kind of show in a detailed report.
where's the intergovernmental? Oh, the bottom one, yeah.
That's probably closer to what you're talking about, but we have a line item for the ambulance, so we can kind of separate it.
See that, we have it.
So this packet, what you're looking at here, so this is showing your 22-23 actual, 23-24 actual. This is the current budget that was adopted for 24-25, and then this is your year-to-date. And I'm trying to get the numbers in here, and I will share that with y'all whenever I can get some help from Encode, is to get the re-estimated actual. So that would be the year-to-date, and then add in an amount, an expected amount for August and September, and then you would have your whole number for the year that we would think it would be.
Just something to look at.
Yeah, so it'll be a better, it
Yeah.
won't be such a big hit
Yeah.
if we can use those incoming
And we get
funds.
that 20,000, ooh, that'll look good on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go to item B, system fund, capital projects. Sal,
Sorry, I'll
That's
try
it.
to, man.
that's all right.
So back to the system funds, capital projects. We received a quote, and I think the quote that I was looking at was back in like a year ago. So I'm sure those numbers will maybe change. But it was $181,000 for phase 3.
That's about right, isn't it? That's pretty much spot on.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a more updated one out there.
These are well, she said, so this is kind of the quote we estimated last year on this time.
Right.
For the, well, not this time, a little later, right? So it may be higher. than that, but we are, I mean, but it couldn't be more than 200,000 anyway, because we can't finance more than that with a small ticket, if we're, you know, if we're going to government capital. So the plan is to, later this month, or for sure, we start talking to government capital about doing another application, so that we finance another 200,000 to finish out the project. And that third phase is covering larger meters for the businesses, and also the relays that we need. Because right now, we're on a drive-by system still. The third one is gonna knock out the drive-up system. It's gonna be all relays, so we don't have someone driving around getting information, the reads and stuff.
Are we 100% on that, the residential on the meters?
No, we have about 100 plus that weren't able to get installed just because it was out of the scope of work for the contractor. So, and it's not unusual for, you know, for it to happen. There's just, there's just so much time, you know, but we did, with the consensus for all, we did. So we actually got a little over 2,000 from them, because they pulled the brass from the old meters and reimbursed and gave us money for the
Say
brass.
that was like 2,300.
Yeah, about $2,300.
So Sal, these new homes coming up on, over there, that neighborhood, they get new meters?
Yes, anything new, in fact,
You have extra meters for that then?
yeah, so we've had the new meters in-house for over 6 months, I think. I think we got them like in February. So maybe February, March, we just said, you know what, anything new, just put the new meters in. So anything new since about March, April, we've been putting new meters in. And then, you know, that information is shared with the office, and Angela inputs it into she creates it. So, but yeah, there's about a little over 100 meters that were not installed. So, but again, like I said, that's not unusual. Ingleside, from their project, they had about 1,000, I think they said, that weren't installed after the project, but they're still catching up with.
So when do you think will be complete?
I'm meeting with, I mean, I've been trying to get staff, like the Jerry's, to kind of sit down with me so we can just get a plan together. It's been kind of hectic past couple of weeks, but the plan is to next week sit down with Angela as well and figure out like where we're at, what's the plan, you know, how we're gonna knock these out.
Most of it's like digging, right?
Yeah,
Can they, maybe that, with a power excavator to do those quickly, you know what I'm saying? You know, they got
That's what I was
the
thinking. Yeah, that's right.
suck all that stuff out.
and some just meters could not be located. That was just one thing. It's like they don't even know where it's at. Well, that was a problem. That was one of the major issues. Like we have no idea where the meters are. So, you know, I mean, our guys were out there for hours. You know, they would find
So how will these people get water?
there's a meter there
There's a meter
somewhere.
there somewhere.
It's just hidden under dirt, you know, so.
Get the locator.
And that's
There's
another
one
one.
that has
Metal
And then, of
detector.
course, you know, you have meters that are located in
Other
the,
people's
in the
properties.
property or someone else's property. You know?
Like a Vista.
Yeah.
Oh, most of them are on, inside the
Yeah,
property.
we're gonna get there. Like I said, we're kind of just reassessing everything, and we're gonna figure out a plan and figure out what's the most efficient way to attack it. So.
That should bring up a little bit of income too on the.
Oh, no, that's, I mean, my gut's telling me 30% increase in revenue.
I
Because,
think,
and like I said, people are gonna, I said it before, some people get upset because they've been paying just, averaged costs for years because their meter was broken. And now they're gonna pay what they use. But also, we're gonna have people who got assessed something, you know, and they're actually using less. You know, and there's still some people who don't understand that we charge a base rate. If your account is active and you go away for 6 months, you're still gonna get a water bill every month. That's just how we operate.
And then with the whole automation, that's where people will be able to see, I think, their like daily usage. You'd be able to check it. You know, the next one would be the sanitation funds, and that's the one we had already gone over, which was the $18,000 cost increase.
You didn't talk to about Parker.
Sorry.
So we're not gonna need a budget for the million because we basically had part of the deal. We're still working out the financing part of it. As far as the exact amount we're gonna be with the project, because we're not gonna make payment for like 6 months till after the project's completed, I think is what we said. So we're still getting quotes for certain parts, you know, regarding the wastewater plant. So once we have that in place, then we'll get an estimated start time maybe, and then we'll probably get a better idea of the cost. Because this stuff takes time, so we may be on the tail end of the fiscal year by the time we get to it, so it may not be that big of a hit. But we don't have to plan for the full million for next year.
I don't think it's been settled on or what we're going to do, if we're going to do like a semi-annual
Right.
or a quarterly payment or a.
Yeah, but it-
I wanted, and I emailed both of y'all during the week to kind of look into the COG funds and where the COG funds,
Oh, what
do
was it?
we,
I saw, I'm sorry, I didn't reply. What was the question again?
do we have to account for that COG fund? Because it is a grant, but the county's meant, do we have to account for that in this year's budget? Because it is going to go to the city.
I kind of would think so. Like I'd asked Paul Bain about it. I don't know if he ever replied to me on it, but it would be kind of like the situation with the drainage district. It's like those are,
Well, no, see,
that would be money coming in, but it's money going like right back out. So it's not really.
but I don't think so, because we're not getting the money. All we're doing is signing off on the work. The money, the invoice. So we're not touching any money. My answer would have been, I don't believe so, because all they're gonna handle all the work, right? And all we're gonna do is say, yeah, they painted it, or yeah, the guy came by, and, that kind of stuff. And we sign up invoices go to the county, and they pay the contractor directly.
Yeah, there's no money being
Right.
switched, so yeah.
But I guess at some point, like that new asset needs to come onto the books. And it's
Right.
like,
Yeah,
where's the counter going to be? Because you have to have, two sides.
Depreciation, all that stuff, all that stuff.
yeah, but I don't think we have to necessarily budget for it. Like there's no cost associated with it. I understand what you're saying. Asset wise, yes, we do have to account for it properly so that it's on the books.
Well, I think we kind of have to, because, I wasn't here when the ARPA funds were awarded. I know that was money that the city, this grant was awarded to the city through the county, and the county's going to manage it. Because some of the other cities, they got the money, but because of our financial history, they didn't want to release the money to us. They want to manage it themselves. So we just need to make sure that, do we need to account for it in the budget, and if so, where? Even though we're not gonna, and if we don't, well, we don't. That's fine.
All right, we'll talk about it more, but my belief is we don't have to, because there's no money being exchanged, and they're handling all that stuff for us. All we're
Right.
doing is, we met Friday with the contractor that they got, from their RFP for this project. So yeah, they're going to be dealing with us. The contractor's talking to us. We'll meet with them and whatever. But at the end of the day, we're going to get the invoice. We'll sign off on it and send it off to the county, and they pay the contract.
Okay, just make sure.
Yes.
And then, so next we have the sanitation funds, the garbage department, and that's one we already talked about, which was the 18,000. So current it's 451,000. So next year we're looking at almost 470 for Republic.
That's a lot of money.
Garbage, right? I think Billy Joe did it the other day.
And then
Half a
next,
million dollars.
Quick question on that.
mhm.
All that, say we just said city only. And that's only city only, right?
No. Well,
Hmm?
no. What do you mean, like?
It's only, it would do Oscar, we do Bethel and all them other places, don't we?
That would be all.
Not all of them, but
Everyone we provide service to.
anyone who has a water bill basically can get garbage.
Can we cut them out, let them do their own, like, over Angelina State? Is Angelina State? Angelina State does Republic. We get rid of them. 'Cause let them get paid. I'm just thinking out
Or
loud.
if like if we're
Just
I guess you're
concentrate
depending-
on the
if
city
you're-
only. 'Cause that,
not wanting to pass the cost to people, maybe not pass them to the people, the inside residents. but to the people that live outside.
I think what he's saying is like, and I
Just
believe
cut
in
'em off.
Sinton, I think in Sinton, they have I don't know who it is that does their trash in Sinton, but like the people who live outside of Sinton, between Sinton and Mathis, I've seen like a truck that doesn't even have markings. It's like a privately owned. The city of Sinton doesn't provide a garbage service to those folks. They just hire, you
Joe
know,
Blow from the thing.
yeah, they just, yeah.
So would it be?
It'd be cheaper for us. It'd be a lot cheaper because we
It
won't
will?
take, yeah. I mean, if we just carry 1,500, how many water meters do we have in the city? 15, and that's 1,500 residents. Instead of, we got, I think they go out to Bethel, a little bit of Bethel, don't they? They go to Angela Estates, they go out here,
6th Street.
6th Street.
Sixth Street. yeah.
That's
You're
a lot.
talking, you're talking about garbage, right?
Yeah,
So how, they charge us by tonnage or how do they charge us?
residents,
I think
right?
it's just per residence.
Oh, per resident?
See, that's,
Well, it's, it would be on that,
Per cart, something like that. You know.
on here. This is how they're gonna charge. So one cart inside, 22.26, one cart outside, 21.55.
see, I mean, it'll bring our base down to less people.
More confined?
Yes.
I mean, that's something we could probably look at when we're getting ready to
Following year,
renew.
maybe.
So when we're getting ready to renew, yeah, like
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
next year.
Just go, just break
Yeah,
it down.
'cause our contract is their contract.
Yeah.
Just because we give them water doesn't mean we have to give them garbage outside the city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I see
but
where Jesse's coming. You give them, you give the residential people, you know,
Well, I hate-
maybe we'll get some
Can you
feedback
turn
from
that
them.
off real quick?
Yeah.
Because what they say, we don't pay taxes inside the city, and we don't want to be inside the city because we got to pay taxes. So in
Yeah,
the cities,
But if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do that, don't you have to amend the city ordinance? Because the city ordinance
yeah.
states that
Yeah, you'd have to do all
everybody that has
Yeah,
a,
yeah,
every
but
place that has a water account has to have garbage.
Yeah, and I think also, my
because we're
concern
doing them a
is
favor.
if you go away from it, then
Well,
people
they're
will
paying
start
for
burning
it.
trash again.
Well,
You know,
if,
people start,
if we don't, I mean, maybe you get some insight from them. But if we don't, because it's costing us more money, maybe you go up on it. I don't know. But get some insight from
Because
both
they already
people.
pay more than the city.
I think they,
But if you increase on the city.
Don't look
they
like-
No,
increase it
I
on
think-
you, don't they?
This is what,
Becky,
the-
they
this
pay
is what
resident, right?
Republic-
Like Angela Estates, they just do regular.
how come there it says
Well, I don't know
This is
why it's
outside.
lower.
outside is lower?
Yeah, I don't
They're-
That's what I'm
they're-
saying.
they're
I don't
just
know why
cheaper.
that rate is lower because used to, that was a hot, like almost a $30 rate. It was
unless
in
inside and
outside
outside
city.
is not what,
You see, they pay less than we
I-
do.
I think if you're looking,
is that,
that's from,
that's what,
And they're supposed to, outside city, and they're supposed to pay a little bit more.
I don't have my fee schedule.
They just,
That's-
maybe we could look
Yeah.
into that
Okay.
contract a little bit.
Wait a minute.
I agree.
Y'all are looking at what Republic is charging us. That's not what the resident pays.
yeah.
The resident pays like 30-something dollars for that garbage.
I don't know.
Card.
I've never seen.
No,
it.
they're higher. They're about $10 higher than the city is. That's just what, that's what we're making more money off of the outside people than we are the inside people.
But it's not reflected in.
Well,
see,
that's-
the $400,000 that we, you know.
Sure it is.
I know what she
Sure
said.
it
She
is.
said that's what Republic charges us.
Yes, we charge
We
more.
charge a bit more to cover administrative.
We charge
So,
like
but the point
$10
is, if
more.
we get less constituents, is Republicans still charge us that big old chunk of money.
See, and that's my point. I think they are.
But we take
You know,
in,
the more people are like, hey, you know, that's.
Because they're charging
Because
us
the
based
CPI,
on,
the CPI, I know is based on, the CPI is based on the number of people. I don't know what that CPI is based on, but it might be the number of people they serve.
I mean,
All this is, it's all a formula.
I understand, but if you go back and you look at how much the outside people pay as opposed to what Republic charges us, they pay a lot more and we get more revenue from them per customer.
But what I'm saying, but it all, it's in the formula, they charge the city on the contract.
And
The
that's what we,
contract.
and that's what we need to find out.
Yes.
We don't know that. We don't know what
I don't,
How they
I don't know
come-
what you're
how-
saying, Jesse. I don't understand your idea
So
there.
Republic is
So the
charging
more
us for
people we have,
service.
the more they-
And what's the service based off of? The
Mhm.
tonnage of trash they're picking up or the number of residents we have?
I think
So
it's
Jesse's
based on
point-
per customer.
So,
The
'Cause
more
they-
people you have, the more they're gonna charge you.
Right.
That's
They're gonna-
basically-
Yeah, for
Yeah,
each
see,
one.
and we only concentrate on our city.
Yeah.
That number goes, I don't know,
I
I've never seen the
I don't think
contract.
so.
I think it's kind of, I mean.
I don't think so.
I think that all this would, it's all based on really what can and can't we do anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll verify that question. Can we, first, we're gonna check to make sure our numbers are correct with the inside and outside, right? And I do believe you're correct that we do charge outside the city more.
Yes.
We do charge
On,
them
on
for
all
garbage,
services, on
services,
water,
taps,
sewer,
water-
and garbage.
yeah, water taps, that kind of stuff. And then
landfill.
we're gonna
Yeah, so-
ask about the, not, just last question. So what would it cost if we don't provide just no garbage for outside city limits?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Once
So-
we have those answers, because it could be, no, you can't, right?
Right.
Well, we have to just find out how many
Yeah.
customers we have in
Yeah.
town and how many customers we
Right.
have.
Even then, it might not be worth it.
Yeah.
If it goes down $100,000, it'd be.
It's
not.
a good
It's
discussion,
not.
like the mayor said, or probably when we negotiate the contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think for this purpose, it's probably too late.
Maybe
to-
add
it.
But, yeah, good discussion to have.
Yeah.
That's something we need. to
Because if
certainly
we were gonna do that, we need to let the citizens
Yeah, yeah.
know ahead of time, and provide alternative services that they can reach out to provide them their service.
And
But
again, we're just assuming that's how Republic charges. We don't know that.
We don't know, we just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just some study.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So we are going to, this multi-fund allocated cost, employee health insurance is gonna go up.
Yes.
That was that 2% that we talked about last
Yeah.
month.
And is that figure per employee or total? That
That's the
2850?
total cost.
Oh, good.
And then, so 2, where it says cost to hire an additional employee. So if we hire an additional employee, it'll be $220 more. So it's actually, I guess, $220 more. $220 more is what it's going up per employee.
Per employee. Okay, thank you.
So right now we pay, for just employee alone, we pay like 9,800 and something. Is that correct? For insurance? It's a little less than 10 grand.
Is it French benefits? Should be 11,000 almost.
It shows up as a few different.
No hospital, nothing. Page 3.
Medicare, fringe benefits, employee health insurance.
Yeah, 11,701.
That's what we pay per.
And.
So
if-
10,869 would be what we're paying
So there'll be an
Per
increase,
employee.
per employee.
Per employee.
and then there'll be an increase of 200 and,
So total 141 to 144.
Okay, so it's going up a little over 3,000. Okay, so 11. Okay.
I think you're gonna, if you're ready to send that spreadsheet or you're just.
I don't know, we have to start maybe considering
Also, this
looking at
spreadsheet that kind of
employee
breaks it out a
paying
bit more,
partial.
email it to me.
That would be
Like everyone
helpful.
else.
I like that spreadsheet.
So I've got this,
Because everybody pays something, come on.
Mhm.
it's my main worksheet where it's
It's a little
Filter.
bit advantage, but they take off on.
And then there's a $4,500 decrease in the budget from the prior year workman's comp.
yes. And the reason why there's such a big difference in the workman's comp is because we're showing a negative in one of the departments. And I think it's like from the police department, there was a lot. It was calculated showing that we still had a police department, which is going to be higher risk. So higher workman's comp. And so we got a big refund.
Yeah, because once we reported that we don't have any police officers or operating a holding cell, those liabilities went away. So we should, we decreased and saved.
We're on item 4, department budget.
So,
Because it's all yes. Okay.
Okay, next.
Approved. Okay. So, yeah, you're just gonna dive into that?
Before you start, Sal,
Sure.
how many, how many employees do y'all have right now in the office?
In the office or
City.
city, I think it's 13.
You mean in the front office or just total
Office people, field people, water people,
13?
13.
by department?
13 total, right?
13 total
Yeah, 13 total
employees.
employees.
Yeah.
Office,
Well, in the office itself, six of us.
6,
Six with benefits.
okay, and then,
And then in the field, let's see, 7, yeah, 7.
so you don't, so I think in the past you used to break them out like water, maintenance, you don't do that anymore?
Not really, I mean, they're
Because
kind of,
they're kind of universal.
right, there are a couple of maintenance workers that are more, that don't really lead over into the water, wastewater side so much. I mean, what I'd like to do is redo all the job descriptions and basically have everyone trained so that they are able to help with leaks and breaks and also to be on the call sheet, full service, you know.
Okay.
But I'm not sure that answers your question or not, but.
So then if you're looking at this correctly, you're managing 13 people. You're managing, supervising 13 people.
12.
Okay.
Doesn't
Oh,
include
it's
you.
not include myself. Well, I'm managing myself a lot.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like, don't quit. Don't quit.
You can do
You
it.
can do it, you're okay.
So who does the judge report to?
She reports to y'all, but I deal with her on a daily basis.
Okay,
and
so
I'm
then
sure the
technically-
gatekeeper, like if there's some, I usually will answer her questions or her asks.
Okay.
She gets looped in if she needs to, and then worst case, she doesn't like what I'm saying, she'll come here.
And she's contract, right?
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
No, she's still reporting to.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, she's coming in. She'll ask me for changes.
So he's working.
Yeah. And then code enforcement.
That's good. So, when you go out, who's in charge?
It's a great phone call. So,
But the owner in charge, go out, but in charge, she's supposed to be. But then also the mayor also helps out a lot.
went out.
We got that also. So, we need to like, what would you need to help you out? So my dream would be, superintendent. That would pick up, a lot of that stuff that I have to deal with, after hours, throughout the day, you know, we need to get rid of that, I can just get briefed on it, get moving on some of the issues, something we can handle every day. We can keep her on the budget, you know, manage stuff, organize the teams, get the schedule out. You know, if there are any changes, we got a plan, it's doing it, okay?
So basically,
That way, on the Zoom, you know, doing that. Have the maintenance thing where I would say meetings about 9, and then show up late. Yeah, they're getting together with the game plan for the day, getting the equipment ready. So then when you someone say, right, the day before, hey, boom, we're out. And also just someone there to make sure that, okay, you know, you guys got, let's go. You know, it's like, I can't be there.
hey,
I agree with you, I think Jesse's point is, what is the need for the day? And where did it go? Does it have to be an hour, could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, should be done the day before?
You know, like they come in an hour before, like 4 o'clock start shooting, and then you're in the meeting. The position that you got, what type of salary you got?
I was thinking
Just for range.
25 to 30. Correct. So that's gonna be 50 to 60, and I've got it split between maintenance and system cost.
50 and 60 hours design.
Because, I mean, I came into this job knowing nothing about that stuff, but I had enough managing experience to be able to wrap my head around how things work, what things are going to cost, how much things take. And I feel like the way I didn't work with them directly, I could manage them, you know? So I think that because someone who just can manage the skills, that's what it is. If someone who can manage the skills, who wrap their head around and understand what they're getting themselves into, you know, they'll kind of come in on the lower end, but if they come in with those skills plus licensing, water and wastewater, then we'll hire them.
I think if you start on the low end, it's not even worth it. I think the higher I'm trying to make more than that.
Yeah, they're probably gonna have a license in the.
If you start off on the low end, good management skills, and they can get the right, just do that. We can help, I mean, we can help them in their causes. They get the license, they're gonna have to upset. And, I mean, I don't know, I was thinking maybe 38 to 50. I don't know.
It's a little low, but I mean, if you want to be a manager, I think minimum 50, you know, someone who's like, okay, you get the potential, you can work with you, work with that.
Okay.
Well, I think the also just like there's a few retired.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like on Eagle side, and that they're retired, and then they ask, hey, so you guys do any jobs over there? I'm talking to one just the other day at a Baptist church. You know, so we might be able to get someone like that who's retired already, but still wants to continue working, who has some licensing and certifications, but also some managerial experience, because I know that we have, the two foremans but sometimes there's kind of a disconnect because they're all kind of the same age. And I know that, when I was their age working for somebody who was, my age, you kind of have almost a friendship relationship versus a supervisor employee relationship.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
and
not to, I don't want to get into age, but I for me, it's just experience, I mean, and then the want to lead, and to manage things. I mean, but I think, and also bringing someone from the outside in is, I think, beneficial for us. It has been in the past. Just someone with a fresh idea who can learn quickly. Destiny or Lewis Clark, she's a great example of that. She's kind of she's my go-to for a lot of the stuff that I know that I could probably do, but I need someone else to just help me out. She's very tech savvy as well. But so yeah, so there's a superintendent. This is just dream asks, right? We still have to crunch the numbers, but a superintendent, another worker, another licensed worker potentially would be great.
Licensed worker
Where?
field,
For the
Outside?
field, right?
for the field.
Right, and that can range from, I think $18 an hour to $23.99, I think is what we're paying right now.
which one are you looking at there with under?
Well, I'm sorry, we're still, we're kind of jumping around here.
So admin, you're talking about
Yeah.
another full-time employee,
Well,
and then
okay,
one that's.
Okay, so let me just go in order here, so we'll stay on track with this area here. So, and I'll come back to the maintenance side. So the admin side, the dream is to get 2 more full-time employees, clerks. One, because what I'm foreseeing is that eventually Patricia is going to stop being able to help us because we're going to start, operating the court more frequently. So she's going to be pulled out that way, right?
She'll
So
be at the other
and she'll be up to the building, so we're gonna need another person, to fill that spot ideally. And then, I would like another full-time person that's split between the library and we have a rover kind of clerk, like would go and help Donna out, learn the job, right? So that Donna can take a vacation without having to worry about the library. And then, because she's having to rely on volunteers. God forbid she wants to retire, we have someone that can fill in, but I think that that's really going to help us out. One, keep the library functioning. She can take time off and relax, not have to worry about the library and stuff. And then we can actually have someone come back and help us with additional work.
So for this budget, would you be okay with just us considering the one full-time employee and you can kind of split that person until Patricia until actually what you're saying about, I know that what you're saying in the future, Patricia may be working again, the municipal court full-time, but until that happens, that may not happen over the next year or two. Look at maybe just one full-time employee that will split between the library and, would you be okay with
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Well, on this,
My answer just, I know their dreams, but yeah.
And the other option was to have a part-time employee for the library and have a part-time employee
For
for
City
the
Hall?
office. And
So
then
two
there's no
part-time?
insurance benefits that we're having to pay out, which are quite costly.
we
Good
could
idea.
start like
I
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I would say to that is that insurance is a huge deal
Yeah.
breaker
For
some people.
anybody, yeah.
Like, that's a lot of reason people are just picking up a job just to get the insurance. So, I mean, we can start off that way. I just don't want to get in a situation where it's like, hey, we're not getting anybody, because they're saying, well, if you're not offered insurance, then I'm going to go somewhere else where they have insurance. And one of the benefits that even attracted me to Odem was that, we paid, 100%. No, we don't, we're a small operation. It's, it's spread thin and stuff, but we're one of the few entities that do that. So that's just, again, something to consider. We're not making decisions today, right? I just want you to kind of mull everything over.
There's
That's
always
the
an option of, again, we look at, somebody more seasoned, I like to say seasoned, that come in who is just looking for a part-time job, just looking to come and work 20 hours a week, or they're not looking, because they may already be retired, or they may already be at the age where, they have a lot of experience because they've worked in the office, in offices for a long time. But they want to stay busy. So you might get somebody seasoned coming in just because they want to work part-time versus somebody who may be younger and is looking to make a career out of working for the city. So
We could always budget for, let's just say, one full-time employee with benefits, but then start with a part-time advertisement. Like we're only going to do this. Just like, for example, if we're budget, like say the superintendent, say we go for it, right? Well, we're going to budget 50 to 60, right? So we're going to budget for 60, but we may not hire them at 60. We may hire them at 50, working on 5, depending on the experience. So we run up with budget on the higher end. At the end of the day, we have a surplus, right? So that's just an idea.
okay, all right, go on.
And then, let's see.
And my ask on there was
So,
training,
yes.
to allocate more money for training.
So Encode charges for their training outside the hours provided for the upgrade. So that's what she's looking into. And but the training also was that also for like off-site training?
Yeah, just all kinds of,
What's your budget right now for training?
It's
And what is your record?
called school.
Huh? Yeah, but like, what's your dollar amount and what are you looking for in dollar amount? How much more?
That's it.
maybe look at,
And have you used all that you have this year?
yes.
You've used it all?
So,
Okay.
So it's 2,000 is the budget, and we're
Yeah.
at 3,700.
You're at 3,700? Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah, Every year that I've seen, it's always been over budgets, but
Okay.
I mean, they just, they just go back and clean it up.
So what are you looking at? How much more?
That's-
What are you trying to get it to? Training and development?
Maybe like,
I think you said 8 once. But that
like
might
at
be-
least like maybe allocate it per, employee, like, 300 per employee or something. And it doesn't have to be
No, just-
one employee use it.
No, yeah, just the
No.
dollar amount. What's the
Yeah.
dollar amount?
I would say 8,000.
8,000?
Okay.
8,000 for
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, by 8,000.
Okay.
Now, that's just for training. See, school now it also includes travel.
Right.
So we need to, that's gonna be,
Well, it's separately listed on here.
is it?
Yeah, because it's got 5,000 was the budget. And it's showing me 16. I know there's some, the debits that aren't showing up in there that will bring it closer. But
Well, that's right. But prior, they were just hitting that school for travel, and we fixed it to do this.
So in this line item, is that include the TML conference for the,
It should.
for the
yes,
council?
and those numbers aren't in there.
Yeah, so you'll have to,
That
I mean, 8,000 is just for,
We have to
And
raise
maybe we
that
should have a
up.
separate, like, I guess, council training versus
Employee.
employee training.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can do that. Add another line number, line item there for the council. So like that, it would be divided.
And that conference cost is split between 2 fiscal years, because we pay for registration now, right? And then October, and when y'all go in October, when we go in October, that's
So the
when,
new
that's when,
budget.
that's new budget, right? But now we're paying for hotel, because we don't pay for hotels till you check out, right? That's when we do it. So
Yeah.
that's how it's going. And y'all all that got registered, you should have received confirmation emails
Yes.
for registration and for your hotel.
Yes.
And not to get off subject, so since I think I told y'all that I didn't feel like I needed to go. If y'all come across something, just click the card and I'll call them. But I'm still catching up with vendors from last year. I'm gonna set up an authorization form so that, you don't have any issues, but I'm also gonna send the mayor with the card just in case. So, that way you don't have any issues with paying for the hotel.
All right, so library?
But were you gonna increase that, Mayor?
Well, I think, yeah, if we're gonna have, I mean, I don't know because TML conference kind of changes depending on hotels and, but what is it that on average?
I
what is
would
it?
like to look at a separate line item for council specifically.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good to track that stuff.
Okay.
So we'll look into that and then we'll present a number.
Okay,
So the library, if Donna doesn't want to chime in, she can. But we're wanting to install a railing and ramp and railing improvement.
Did you finish with your
Mhm.
wish list?
Mm-hmm. For
Yeah, so it was the
admin.
clerks, the
the
superintendent, and then the extra maintenance worker.
Extra maintenance worker, superintendent,
Superintendent,
so that's just the additional field person is not the superintendent.
right.
So that's
Well, we can actually, well, Dundee will come back to that.
That-
in a
He's gonna
second.
come
Yeah.
down to that
Yeah.
in a minute.
So the ramp and railing improvement, so we need, so the ramp that kind of goes up on the side of the library, that's all tiled and there's no ramp. And of course, it's a little slippery sometimes, so we've looked into putting down like a sand grade. It's not recommended because it just won't last long enough, so we want to just rip up the tile, maybe paint it with some nice, long-standing kind of grit paint and put a railing on the side that's kind of open. And then we want to pull out the carpet no, we don't necessarily have costs for this necessarily just yet. I think she's got some quotes coming in, but just to give you an idea of what we're trying to do. Just because it'll, one, cleaning costs, mold issues, personally allergies, carpets are just kind of gross, especially, and that we do have a lot of high traffic. Now, I know carpet's probably preferred in libraries to reduce sound issues, but we don't have crowds in there all the time, but we can also install nice acoustic foam boards all around the area. Mhm, yeah. This is all coming from her.
Jane going like,
Yeah, this is all coming from her. And of
Miss-
course, the part-time employee, that kind of fed back into the admin stuff, so.
Ms. Donna, what was your budget last year?
Pardon me?
What was your budget last year?
Before, wasn't it? You have, I don't have a copy.
It's in here.
I want to say it. Surprised me and told me it was more. We had some unfortunate cuts when we had to,
Right.
but, because it was in the 80,000s at one time.
So it was 81.
447.
Okay, this time was 81.
81,447,
I think she's probably accounting for her salary. Yeah,
and what's the
81,000.
actual spent?
75,000.
75,000. And you really haven't done anything to the library, right?
I don't know.
It's growling the refrigerator.
So you really haven't
the
done
most-
anything to the library, right?
No, we haven't done any changes as far as, the building.
Yeah.
I told you we're gonna have to do something with the slick front
Right,
tiles.
right.
That's just an accident waiting to happen. We had a really bad leak in the roof and we've got problems there. And you probably noticed here, the walls and everything. So we're gonna have to have a little bit of maintenance done and he mentioned, Sal mentioned all that. And then the carpet, we've had it cleaned.
Donnie, can you come to the thing and turn the speaker on? I don't think they can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have
Yeah.
that one on.
Oh, it's on already? Okay, great.
Yeah. I don't know whether the building shifted, I don't know what, but as you can see, we have cracking in all the walls, and that's in the hallway also. And so there's some maintenance that we're gonna have to spend this year that we haven't had to before.
Would that fall under the library's budget? I mean, that's not really like books and, or would this just be, like maintenance
I
on
mean,
the city
You could
buildings?
apply it, I mean, you can make an argument either way. You can hit the building maintenance budget for the library, you can just hit it with general. Our accounting probably would tell you if to put it there.
I would put it there.
In the library as an expense to the library, okay.
We continue to maintain our numbers. People we're finding now are using us for their Medicare, Medicaid, or workforce. That's now become the center for the libraries. We still have our very literate community. We have lots of readers and our circulation maintains. But people are coming in now because they need to do something online. Unfortunately, we're able to provide them a fast Wi-Fi and good computers. So it's something we need to keep up with.
I mean, if you're looking at roof repairs is gonna be at least $25,000-$30,000. Because they're not gonna just do a patch, they're gonna wanna do the whole roof to make sure to warranty it. So you're looking at, I mean,
We already have that repair done.
I say you already have
how
done.
much was it?
It's minimal. It was just a patch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a full roof repair. And then they came back out to just making us, I think there was still little leaks, but they came out and fixed it. rectified it.
So-
It was just-
Is that a water leak right there?
No, that's just
That's
settling.
been there for a long
Yeah.
time.
Now,
Yep.
one, I did have a contractor come by, just kind of take a look, and part of this, what's interesting about, like, right there, so that's just the paint peeling off the wall,
Mhm.
right? So what I think I might have figured out, so whenever you go into a convenience store, you get hit with that cold air, right? Well, we don't have, I'm not saying we need that, what I'm saying is that you're gonna have hot and cold just kind of coming into the building, mixing with all the in and outs that we have. So we should probably look into probably like the type of paint that you would use in the bathroom. So we're told some, little bit of repair there, some spackling and using some different paint, but probably getting just a stronger paint. I can't explain why nails are popping out of the wall.
Probably movement.
I can't explain that.
Maybe
But,
Well, that would be probably settling, like Ms.
Mhm.
Donna said, I mean,
Yeah, so I mean, there's just, like I said, she's working on getting some quotes for that.
Okay.
That's just
Allison
something to
Floor
look into.
Company is sending somebody out this coming Tuesday to come and check. And I'm even gonna have a look here, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna say the cracks in all the tiles is a settling problem.
Mm-hmm.
But we might as well get some bids. See what they can help. But the roofing people said the problem was that's the apex where 4 areas of roof come together to a point. So it's the drainage spot. And so it's something that,
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm surprised that they only patched it, because being that, the leak could be somewhere else, not necessarily where the patch is, and then just run down because that's where the drainage is at. So, well, we'll see, I guess, when we get a big rain, see what happens.
and when Sal was mentioning the part-time person, we've had the city's IT guy has made it accessible for anybody from City Hall that might want to sit, should they be at my desk when I'm gone, they can access their information and do file, look up, whatever. So it would not be just they're completely lost to City
Yeah,
Hall.
so they're not disconnected from their regular job. They
But
can
would
still,
still be able to do something should they need to.
And with that change, we saved on the internet costs that came from here. So now, so we're all on one network now. We spent the last year connecting the maintenance shop, the fire department, the municipal building. It's all on one network. So we were able to eliminate those individual internet bills. This was the last one, and then we're also we also saved some money on, we pay for a firewall for internet protection, cybersecurity. We pay per building, so now we eliminated that. So there's a little bit of savings there.
And it will be nice because y'all allowed us, the city employees, to carry over our sick leave and carry over our vacation, which is so nice for, when you can't be gone.
right?
I do appreciate that, and I think all the other employees do too.
Municipal court, the big ask is just, like I mentioned earlier, is just bringing in the management system from Encode.
They can't pay that out of their technology fund?
Yes, they can, but I
So,
mean, it's still a budget ask increase, that kind of thing, but it's just something, that y'all need to be aware of that will happen, so in case you see huge chunk of change coming out of that, but we're working on, again, a quote for that. Maintenance, so to finish up that conversation, so the ask was a superintendent, 50 to 60,000, another worker, $15 an hour to the 23.99, which is licensed wastewater licensed individual who are paying them now. So that would be the salaries depending on their experience and their license and if they have any. And then, of course, you have Betsy was asking also for, and eventually we're going to get there eventually, because a lot of like what we're going to be doing is going to require email. As far as like purchase orders, being, instead of them coming in, filling out, or work orders, we want to do it via apps. It's a lot easier and more efficiently to track that kind of stuff. Less stuff falls through the cracks. But there's additional cost there for like Adobe and Outlook and whatnot. And one thing I didn't see on here that I wanted to mention was also the equipment. So right now we have a mechanic working on some stuff. He's moving forward with repairs, but I know that, we have our mini excavators down, our backhoes, all our major stuff is down. We're renting right now, renting all our heavy equipment. So,
So how about all the access trucks just sitting around? The white truck's been sitting in that building for like years, that white truck.
That one's already surplus, the one that's behind the old maintenance shop.
Yeah.
yeah.
We surplus that one, we just haven't been able to get it on we've been out sell and they've been so busy, they really haven't got it on the auction. But that one, the fire department, the green truck behind the fire department, that's been surplus, as well as the white the white police car that's still sitting over there at the impound, all those cars have been surplused already. We just have to get them on the auction. But there are a couple other vehicles. There's another white truck at the maintenance shop in the back that's also had some transmission. They haven't used it in years. That was surplus as well. So there are some vehicles that we just have to get them on the auction.
Yeah, and that's my thing, I have a plan to do it, and then stuff happens and it just keeps moving down.
Well, what ends up, we haven't been able to find some titles, I think, on some of those older vehicles, and they need a title, so, I mean, I even called Camacho at one point and said, well, can you just come and pick them up, and whatever you give us, you give us. He said, well, does it have a title? I mean, we're still,
Well, you know what,
So they
Mayor, I'll
can't
get you
get-
that number, says I'll buy cars and I'll take it to Mexico.
talk to the guys that drive through with 4 or 5 cars.
So just, we have the agreement signed with Alco here. All we have to do is just, get some pictures and, get them. That was my thing. It was like, okay, so I want to move them I want to move them to the impound yard, but I don't want to put them there and then move them again because we get it repaved, and I'm still working with those quotes to see, the best approach. So, and then, again, something happens, or killer bees, go look at it,
So we have titles, whatever titles that we have, let's just take pictures of the vehicles and put them on the auction for next month, or this month, I guess, because it's the second
I mean,
Saturday.
like the goal is, I mean, I know it's to get it done before the fiscal year ends so that we can have a little bit more money in the bank.
So,
It is something that we didn't bring up on here, but we're gonna need a budget increase for, the parks for mowing. We will be taking on that responsibility, right, in October,
For what?
for mowing, veterans.
Oh, yeah. Before we jump to that, I have a couple of questions. Why does it say emails for all employees? They don't have email?
Not all our admins do, but Jerry Sanchez, Jerry Miser, and Javier Garcia have emails, and we have 3 workers that don't have emails.
So do we get charged per email?
Yes. Yeah, it's about $371 per person, but that's Outlook. That is, you get the full
Teams.
Teams, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you can't piecemeal them. I've asked, can I just have the Outlook only? And they're like, no, it only comes this way. And Outlook is government rated, so it passes those cybersecurity specs that we didn't necessarily hit before with the Gmails. But it's just the cost of.
For the amount of employees you have, you should be able to give them. I mean, I think email, you really, really need it.
Yes,
It's a line of communication, a line of accountability.
Yes, that's what I say. If we can,
So
it's easier to
things-
hold employees accountable, especially like what I'm getting the foreman to really get a habit of doing is put everything in writing. If so-and-so said this, make sure you just reply back to them,
The hardest part on this is gonna have to be, because it's a kind of a younger age group, personal emails and all that has to be discussed so that it's business work only.
Yes,
You know, The managing part is gonna be what's gonna be challenging for you. So, and then the other question I had was, so your code enforcer right now is part-time and goes only till, what about full-time? What about making him full-time?
he has a full-time job, so, but that's how we're able to get him on sort of.
Well, not necessarily him, but, I mean, I don't know, is there enough work for him here full-time?
I don't think so just yet. That's why I want to take these 3 months, to really get a good idea of the assessment, because he's come, it's about 4 hours every week that he's come, and we got some spreadsheets going with, like the first project he did was, he logged all of the dilapidated houses. So he's got a list going there, so now we can start looking at those houses and really start figuring out, and then we have, his, our Destiny, our clerk, she's gonna do the research to find out who the property owners are. We start sending letters and certified letters to say, hey, your property is in compliance with our code, you need to do this, you have so much time, you go back to him, so. I mean,
I would like to see us budget for full-time.
we can budget for a full-time, and then if we have him contract it out just for the part-time, and then as we see it, hey, we need a full-time person, then we start exploring that.
I think there's a lot more meat on the bone that we need to be addressing or looking at. I mean, I'm not here a lot Monday through Friday. Jesse, I know you are, but I'm not here. I'm in Corpus working, but, from,
People are picking up signs
well,
this week, so.
something like that. I think people are, I don't want to say taking advantage, but the fact like I'll do whatever I want to do. 'Cause
Yeah.
we have no
Well,
enforcement.
That's changing. That's,
You know what, there's a house on Paisley that they just put it for sale, and that's the one that dilapidated over that corner. They got it for sale now, because I'm pretty sure.
no, I mean, he's made contact with, at least, I mean, I know that yesterday we had, someone come in upset because he made contact with someone and, it wasn't a bad conversation, but it's like, why are you telling me this now? It's like, well, it's been an issue and you need to address it. We finally got someone who's got time to come and talk to you.
I mean, I would like to see his budget at one, and if we can't afford it, then fine, we can't. But because I don't want to take the place of anything else that y'all might need.
Sure.
I like.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad, I mean, like I said, I don't mind, yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea, but let's budget for a full-time, just put the money there, right, hold it there, and then we kind of just play it by ear. And, and then we can, at least we're prepared for a full-time if we think, hey, we're gonna need one.
Or that superintendent kind of fit all of those.
I don't wanna
Yeah,
piecemeal.
but I want to piggyback on him, on Isaac. We're gonna need money to demolition some of these buildings. So where are we gonna get that money?
Well, that's the thing, we have to get all the legal stuff.
But
out
still,
of
it's
the way.
gonna start happening.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long it'll take, I mean, but, I mean, I think it's the highest I've seen for a demo is about $8 grand.
So maybe, there's gonna be like everything.
But but if we were to, let's just say with all the legal stuff was kosher and we were at the point, it's like we're gonna demo your house, right, and we're gonna send you the bill. Now you owe us money. That's how we're not gonna be out that money. If we have to, if the city has to do, provide that service, we're gonna go and get the money back.
Can we,
Can we put a lien
at some
on the
point, if
property
they
and
don't,
get the
Yes.
property?
At some-
That's the next step.
at some point, if they don't pay, can we put a lien on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that what you
I mean,
said?
I mean,
So, I
Yeah.
understand.
See, when Lineberg will come in and do some of that stuff, they'll start sending letters.
right. And in September,
So should it be.
Linebarger is gonna, their contract is up for renewal, and we talked about collections for accounts besides the court stuff with both fines. So they're gonna present a new contract that'll have fine collection for like past due accounts.
So I know well, at least one house that's in town that's one of those houses we're talking about, that the county has already, because they didn't pay taxes, so the county, so who's responsible for maintaining, I mean, I don't know if there's more than one property that's already been or not foreclosed on, but
It depends, it could be the bank, it could be the bank, but that's the thing, that we're in that sort of research phase of, okay, now we know the property, we have the addresses, now we're doing the research through the tax appraisal district. We're getting addresses, because a lot of what we're finding is, for some reason, a lot of people live in Houston that own houses here. Interesting, so, but yeah,
Or even further than that.
yeah. And we're
yeah, well, we gotta
seeing
just,
certain-
those houses that are owned by the county, you know,
Yeah.
people complain about, like, you
If they're owned
know,
by the county, then I feel as if we can probably reach out to our commissioner to start that conversation, and be like, hey, take care of it, maybe.
Yeah.
And we're responsible. They got the tools. You know.
okay.
And then there's, I'm not sure if we have a number for the training in the maintenance area, but I think you're asking for a line item for training under
Yes.
maintenance specifically.
I mean, I think a lot of this is very reasonable. Just depends on what numbers you provide to us.
Right.
And the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Numbers.
I mean, I don't know what,
And I know, like, you know, when we talk about software and stuff, I'm grateful for a lot of the understanding, but more for anyone that's kind of maybe listening. Software is expensive,
oh, yeah.
you know, paying $100,000 for some sort of like management software, that's cheap. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be, it's almost like not really what you need, right?
Right.
I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars are spent on a quality software. That's why Encode is expensive, but, you know, compared to other financial systems, it's one of the top. And what's great about it is that there are other cities use it, so we don't necessarily have to call in code for some help. We can reach
Right.
out to our sister cities or brother cities, and put it, and ask their expertise, which we have in the past. And Angela went out to Ingleside to kind of sit with their billing clerk to get some ideas and to ask some questions. So
I think the biggest issue with software is that there's a lot of stuff out there, but the software that really is government, is for government use only, is not. There isn't very many out there that are, just for government use. There's a lot for businesses and stuff, but it just doesn't relate to what we do as a government. So, and Encode being one of the big ones that everyone uses, they can pretty much charge what they want because there isn't really a whole lot of systems out there that work for government use. So,
So,
But going back, I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
going back to about equipment, you know how you were saying that we're gonna have to hire somebody to maintenance, to cut the grass and everything. Why not look into buying a tractor that our guys can cut our own grass? For the reason that if you're gonna be paying somebody, you're gonna continue paying them, why not pay into something that's gonna be owned by the city?
In my experience, sometimes that's not a good move only because of insurance purposes. And you look at the grass and the amount of rain we've had, I mean, you're gonna have to hire more employees, because you can't do it with the employees you have now. So you're gonna have to hire more employees. So I'm sure that's probably a long-term goal. I don't know that this time would be the time to do it, but that's, long-term, I would think that that's the route you would wanna go.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right now-
The contract situation with maintaining our parks is always going to be temporary.
Yeah.
It may just be next year,
Right.
just to catch up, because, and I think I mentioned before that, we're just behind on work orders. We have like, okay, we're gonna go and take care of the gas station, right? Because it's just got out of hand, and we're gonna send the bill to pump the property owner. But towards the end of the day, leak. Okay, gotta pull them off, go over there. No, that's
well, I
not-
know that when they started east side of town, they started with right there by the railroad tracks. They cut that easement right there, and they were out there for 4 days.
Yeah.
It took them like 4 days just to cut the alleys and everything out there and weed eat what needed to be weed eaten, and that's not even like, I think there were some spots that were missed because they get pulled away. So
and
it's
then, during the hotter months, people have to understand, like, you can only be out there for so long. I mean, you think like, oh, I could do that in a day. I'm like, okay, but you're not considering like these guys are, covered, and they're out there worried about the traffic, and what would take someone maybe 4 hours in your backyard, but they're out there,
Yeah.
And usually when you contract out, they don't wanna come back. They wanna get in there, get the job done. They don't wanna come back.
right?
Because
Yeah.
it costs them more money.
Right. And the contractor we have now that's taking care of the parks, they've come back and not charged us. So, because they've been very reasonable and they do a good job. So,
And the other reason that I would say that's a good idea, but in the long run, is because like Parker, that's an additional deal that we know that we have to take care of right now. And there might be some other items, but I think eventually as we get there, we knock these big things out of the way, we can get there.
Yeah. Well, I could just say, like the other with the pipes, the sewer pipes over there. What's the alleyway? Right there where the Baptist church. I mean, no, the Baptist church, behind the Baptist church. We had an issue with it's all clay, so there was a collapsed pipe in one alley. So I asked Jason. I said, just run a camera through the rest of the pipe, and he's showing me on his little video thing as he's pulling the camera. You can see all the cracks, all the clay pipes is just all cracked. I mean, from one end, from one manhole to the next manhole, which is 2 blocks over, he ran the camera all the way through and pulled it, and it was just, there was cracks everywhere. Yeah,
And it's the same way behind the Methodist church in that alley.
yeah, yeah.
Where
He
Trudy
actually,
Walker is and all of them, they've had problems.
he ran the camera through there. I said, can you run it over there too? He ran the camera over there, and there's a section of the pipe that 2/3 of it, they couldn't even get the camera through
Right.
because it was just all mud and just stuff that was collected because the line collapsed somewhere. We just don't know where yet. So dirt and debris getting into the pipe, so it gets pushed. So he couldn't even get the camera through that mud pack because So water's still flowing through,
Mhm.
but it's slowing. If a pamper or something comes through there,
Oh, you're
back
done.
that's it. That's why the maintenance guys have to go over there so often and run the what do they call jetter in there, because there's mud getting into those pipes because they're broken somewhere, but we just don't know where.
The school things that way.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Jason said that the least expensive way to do it was to just run a new pipe through the existing pipe, just pull it through. But because of all the cracks, he says it's not going to work, Mayor, because we start running a new pipe through there, because we have to disconnect all the houses, and we start running a new pipe through there, it's going to crack the existing. So they're going to break open.
Mhm.
So the best way to do it is just lay a new line through there. But he said from one manhole to the next, which is 2 blocks, it's almost $100,000.
Mhm.
You know,
And it's
so
part of the Parker.
No.
What?
He said it's this part of the Parker project.
Oh,
No.
The Parker project
I
is
thought
all
about the
just-
same thing. I said,
it's all
well,
just waste-
could
it's
we
all
just,
wastewater plant.
but we still got to get the wastewater plant up and running. Even like the wastewater, remember the big motor that y'all bought before? It was like $50,000 for the irrigator up there. And we paid, I think, 8,000 or 4,000 to them to come in and install it. Well, the electricians connected it and they couldn't get it to work. They couldn't get it to work. They said there's power to it and we don't know why it's not working. Well, finally, we got somebody who came in that actually knew what they were looking for, and it was just a little, like a little circuit. So the old motor that we took off is still, he says, that motor's probably still good, Mayor. He says, don't get rid of it. He says, because it wasn't the motor, it was an electrical issue. So,
Yeah, we needed a hydroelectrician.
Right.
all hydro stuff.
So we
hydroelectrician.
did, I mean,
So,
once, I think it was Miser, once he came in, he was like, oh no, you need this kind of, okay, cool, that's all. we figured
yeah,
out.
so yeah, the clay pipes are starting to cause a lot of problems. Most of them are cracked from beginning to end. Uh,
And
Yeah, Vista's the same way.
Flournoy, all of
And the
it.
bad thing about Vista is that the pipes are in people's backyards.
It is.
So we
Yeah.
can't just go in there and just dig. We have to go from one house to the next,
Yeah.
ask permission, and we have to get heavy
Because they made
equipment
their,
because they moved their fence lines into the old alleyway.
yeah.
You
So
know, just speaking
Was
of
there an
fences,
alleyway before?
yes.
that's what I.
and
Yeah.
our inspector, I recently instructed him, I said, any fences, I want you to go out there and inspect because we need to verify that they aren't building into our easement. And I think we had what kind of prompted that conversation was something happened actually.
Yeah,
with
it could-
taking this bite.
Dennis over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing.
So, and I don't know, we have to kind of look at that, like, did the city put, our utility on their actual property, or did they build into the city easement? It's hard to tell, because it was just so long, things were just done so long ago. And always just verbal.
That was gonna be another question I had. Could it be a code enforcer / inspector? What are we doing with the inspections right now, like for new houses?
We have an inspector, yeah.
We're still contracting that out?
Okay, so yes, but, I don't want anyone to misled, so we're not out of pocket for anything for that. The
Okay,
customer pays $100 for an inspection, say, right? 75 goes to the contractor, we keep 25 for admin costs.
okay,
We're not out of pocket for anything like
okay.
that. Now, so that's why I wouldn't think, like, if we took on that, it would be more liability for the city. This way, it's like, hey, we contracted you, and you assume all liability,
So who signs off on
So,
who signs off on the,
so Kenny's our inspector. He basically signs off on, say, your certificate of occupancy.
okay,
They bring it to me and I sign off on it after I ask my questions.
Okay.
There have been some incidences where I had to get involved because, maybe up in front there was some miscommunication or some training issues, but we resolved it pretty quick. So.
okay,
And Kenny's been really great to us too. Like, there's times where it's customer, my opinion, customer dropped the ball. They said, we dropped the ball. I said, you know what, can we just come in and help us take care of this so we can just move forward and, satisfy it? And he'll pop in as soon as he can. So he does a really good job.
okay. The other thing that, that I kind of have a note of is, I know the alleys have been a big issue, like on Vista. I mean, I think if we get a code enforcer, full-time, I think if the water meter is in the alley, then I think we need to have a right of way through that. How that happened, I have no clue how that, or where that happened, but I know that on 37, right behind Dollar Store, that's another area that's a problem. And Vista, that is now a problem. And then there's another, right here, right across the, right by the mechanic right there in the back.
Mhm.
That's a problem.
Yeah, because.
So
that
I
work-
think eventually,
he actually went out there and we're, again, records is an issue, right? Because we're told that for some reason that part of the alley was given to that property owner. How true that is on paper, I don't know. It could have just been, yeah, go ahead, right? I don't know. So we're looking into it. I think it's not so much a code enforcement issue right now. It is a
Okay.
legal issue. So it's like,
Okay.
once we kind of figure out, again with the home, adopted homes, it's like, okay, Epi, here are the homes. We sent two certified letters. They have not responded. What do we do? Can we go ahead and just
Okay.
demolish it and send in the bill and then put a lien on the property? And the same thing with here. Like, do they legally own that? Do they legally own that part? Right. I know right now we don't have any ordinances that. So at Corpus, I have to maintain my easements. They're city easements, so it's my alleyway. If my alleyway gets overgrown, I get a warning. Because there's the utilities are right there in the alleyway, all the curbs, the sidewalks.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for that. We don't have that here. I mean, eventually down the line, maybe we explore that, but I mean, that might kick off some people. But I think there's some responsibility a bit down the line. Once we kind of are up to par with providing better services,
Yeah.
more efficient services,
Yeah.
we can maybe start exploring that down the line. But anyway, right now it is what it is, right?
Okay.
But I think it's more of a legal question
All right.
of, and again, back to that utility, right? Like, who really owns that property line? Whereas if the property line's here and they built their fence here, well, obviously we have to get our lawyers involved to say, hey, you need to move your fence.
Right.
Well, the thing
Okay.
is, a Vista, some people built storage houses, yeah.
On top of and that may have been prior to permits or after, whatever, but that's all permitted now. So if you have, it happens everywhere. There's some people that do stuff without getting permits, whether it was unintentional or intentional.
Right. Okay.
But it'll eventually come to light, and we'll figure it out. So.
Okay.
Then down the system, we talked about that already, superintendent, and then just possibly splitting the costs. I would assume between system and
Maintenance, general.
General.
Yes.
Mhm. And then just that emails for all employees. There's I don't know, Jerry had presented to me a application that's on the phone for work orders. So, because right now we email the work order to one of the Jerry's, they, depending on their areas, right? So, say Sanchez gets a work order, it's handed off to one of the other guys, and they go from there, but that's a piece of paper.
Mhm.
Then they got to report, and they've been pretty good about this. We set up a system where, like, if there's an on-call that comes through, so I'll get an email, Angela gets an email, both the foremen get the email. I told them, when you complete the job, reply to that email with what you did and when, and we've been keeping track that way. This software application we're looking at, it's a minimal cost, that it's all digital. It's like on the computer, you pop in the work order, it goes to the system, it gets assigned, they get it on their phone, they can check out, check in on it, and then if it's not been completed, there's a report generated, and we'll know, hey, why is this lingering for a month? What happened?
Does Encode have anything like that?
Yes.
They do. It's just we're just trying to find like cheaper routes until we can get there, right?
And I don't know how like if it's got an app or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah,
It
we're
may,
still
but I
exploring
don't know.
that.
Yeah.
It's not something that's destroying our efficiency, but it's something that's on a back burner for sure.
VinCode has a system. Let's just see how that works.
Yeah, and that's my goal at least for our, just as a whole, that if Encode has it, I mean, it might be a little costly, but it's more efficient when everything's under one umbrella.
Well, especially if within code, if you add the expenses, like we had to buy a part and it cost $55 or whatever for that, and you put it into that work order system and it's going to generate it into some kind of a report where you can show to the council, this is what, over the last 3 months, this is what was done, and this is what each.
And it should show you, like, no, there's no money in there, no
Right.
budget for that anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
One thing, also lastly on this, on the system is, so I really would like to shop out our, billing process, not the employee. What I mean is that right now, our employees are, at least 2 employees are spending about 20 hours every month just sending out the bill. They're generating the bill, they're putting the bill in the envelope, they're getting it, there's costs with stamps, with our, with our, what do you call it, the machine, postage machine, So you take their salaries times 20, right? Not including cost of the stamps and stuff, and we're a little over $600 we're spending just to send out bills. There was a vendor that I met at TML last year. Now, these are the same people that do the bills for Corpus. You basically do an extract file, PDF from Encode. You send them the file, and they basically take everything on. And they have better costs for postage. I think what I saw was minimum was like $4 something a month to cover that issue.
We're also paying extra in printed pages.
Yes.
We're going over, so we're having to pay extra.
And that would free up 20 hours for those administrative staff to do other things. Because there's like I said, we're still trying to catch up on digitizing old records and stuff like that. And
can we find out what some of the other cities use? Because I know some other cities have a paperless, like they can sign up for paperless billing. So they get an email with just like a lot of us do with our credit card bills and everything. They have paperless billing system where a lot of those people, we don't have to be mailing, it goes out automatic to their email or whatever. So let's just find out if we can do that. That'll probably take a big burden off, because I think that a lot of the people from probably our age down would probably say, I just send it to me on an email to, paperless billing, which they all do, like I do with my credit.
Well, that system was
I
good,
think we
but
kinda had that
something happened to
option.
that system that Angela said it, because I used to get it all the time, and I used to,
We're getting that back,
Yeah.
because that was AdComp, and AdComp
'cause
got
that came out and
disconnected
you
when we
just pay
went
it.
to the parallels.
Yeah.
But we'll
So,
get that back, and I think there'll be an easy way to set up the feature of,
and then you can set opt
Don't
out,
send
opt
me
out
emails
to.
or send
me paperless bills.
Paperless bill, yeah. Plus, if everything's on the computer with the new water meters, that'd be.
Because even like my bank statement is all paperless. I don't get a
Yeah.
bank statement anymore. They
Yeah,
just
me either.
email it to me. So
so yeah, I mean, that would just, like I said, free up a lot of that time. And it seems like it would just pay for itself in efficiency. So there's 2 more staff members that aren't spending 20 hours, And also, I believe that there is some, also included in that is the delinquent accounts. They'll help keep track of that stuff and send automatic letters that don't cost us anything.
Yeah.
Also, so, but like I said, I met them last year, and I'm finally catching up with that stuff. So that's pretty much all the big asks that we have. I'm not sure if these jive with anything that y'all were wanting.
yeah, you've covered pretty much all of them.
So how much money is all county up to?
That's
Kidding.
the next one, because we didn't want to get into the weeds if you're like, we're not going to do that. I think that we were, Betsy had mentioned, I forgot who mentioned it, but looking into a 2% COLA, cost of living increase for staff. We'll get those numbers as well and see what that ends up being.
Well, hold on. Did we not just adjust our pay this year?
Yeah, we adjusted it to, what we did is I think, rounded everybody up to $15 an hour who wasn't already getting $15 an hour.
Right.
And then I think we did a 4%,
Yes, roughly.
like a 4% across the board with everybody.
So I think you're good for a year.
Probably for
I mean,
the,
I think you're good for a year because you've already made those adjustments.
So,
And then the following year, you can do,
well, I do have a line item for me for salary adjustments,
Okay.
for evaluation, after evaluation. So if y'all just replenish that line item again, I believe I got 10,000 last year. I can figure out, who should deserve a raise at that point.
yeah,
all right. Does anybody have anything that we didn't cover, something that you guys might want to look at for this year?
no, I've got some things, but with everything we got going on, there's just no way you can fit everything in there, but I think it's a good start. What, I guess, Mayor, what are the next steps? It's gotta be approved by when?
Well, we'll have another workshop.
We're gonna, okay, so that's another thing, so, and then, but you'll also will look at the calendar, which still, I wanna say, still will be fluid, but the next workshop would be August 16th. But,
At Tuesday's meeting, are we gonna
you'll-
approve the tax rate on Tuesday's
well,
meeting?
you're basically, yes, you're gonna decide as a consent, provide a consensus on the route you wanna go with the tax rate. That's gonna trigger, the tax assessor to do her part, to put the notice in the paper, right? And we have all these sort of deadlines we have to meet. I mean, you have to, I believe the deadline for passing the budget is the 29th of September.
Mhm.
But I mean, if there's no snags, we could get done by mid-September.
Yeah.
If there's no snags,
Is the,
So we can do it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Is
we-
the tax
yeah,
off-
yeah,
is
we
it-
could. We could.
is the tax office gonna be represented here on Tuesday?
What's that?
Tax off?
Yes,
Ms.
I
Marshall?
invited her to the meeting, so she'll be here to explain any kind of questions, the complicated stuff. But she's been, like I said, we met with her maybe 3 weeks ago or so. Gave us a little rundown, and then her and Betsy have been talking every so often, and she's provided documentation and there's been dialogue, so.
There's legislation also on the 2% rollback to try to bring it to 2%. Oh, we won't even hit that, right? Rollback. It's a new legislation they're trying to pass on this.
Oh, the specials, okay, we don't know, I'm not sure.
We probably won't even get affected by that anyway. So.
Yeah.
So I'll put up the outlet in those quick park pictures real quick, just for fun. The different park schemes with the.
I don't have, she's its own.
Hey, Sal, I would think that,
That email.
So-
Huh?
so, and just conversation wise, so we're missing a lot of numbers right now. Okay, so we have the wish list out there, we're missing numbers. So you would basically have to have 2 more meetings, am I correct?
Well.
Guys, you'll bring us that meeting with the final numbers. I'm
So
sure there'll
like-
be discussion.
Yes, so let's say, and I think Mr. Welker had mentioned to me that he would prefer to meet maybe the following Tuesday instead of the 16th, so it'd be like the 18th. So let's just say we met on the 18th, right? On the 18th, we should have for you a proposed budget draft with all these numbers. Now, if we find, okay, there's no way we can afford that, we'll make that kind of call and reduce whatever we would reduce. And then bring that to y'all to be like, okay, and that's when we should have sort of that final wrap up discussion of like, okay, this looks great, let's move forward, or hey, what happened to this? I'd like this, and so we can't afford that, so let's cut that, because that's what it boils down to. What are we willing to cut?
Could you get a draft together that you can email to us sooner than that?
I think so. I mean, I don't
If
know.
y'all can get a draft
That would help.
emailed to us with the numbers,
Yes, no.
with the numbers that y'all are looking at as far as the employees and everything else that you guys have discussed, that'll kind of give us, a head start.
Pre-budget drafts.
Right.
Yeah, I can do that.
So we can see real
As far as
numbers,
Yes.
and how that's going to affect our overall budget, from last year to this year. Because we do have the Parker thing, if we move forward on that, that's what, 19,000 they said a month and then of course the ambulance service and some of the other increases. So if you can get us a draft of the draft, and email it to us. And if anybody has any questions, they can come and meet with y'all, make a time, even after hours if necessary. Because that's when I usually meet with y'all anyway, so.
So again, just if everything's just smooth and there aren't any major hiccups, I mean, we could stay on schedule.
Right.
We-
No, no, you're right.
We may not need another workshop.
Mayor, no, just what the mayor just said, yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Just a real quick, just fun stuff here.
Well, it's a little relevant still.
Yeah, this is just some of the stuff that they're working on. This is like the park scheme. One of the 3 drafts real quick. That's one.
What's the blue thing?
The blue is like,
It's landscaping.
Oh,
Like we can look up. I know, right?
see, and right there where that pavilion is that they're gonna try to keep that as a pavilion too.
oh, that's the existing
Yeah,
cement that's there?
yeah. And then a basketball court and then the swing set right there. That'd be the cheapest one that, it hadn't been out to the public yet, but I just want to show the council. You want to show me the other real quick?
Yeah, they gave us 3 options.
This is the only, they're gonna move the whole swing set over there and the pavilion there, but that's gonna cost a lot of money.
Yeah, no, we don't want to be moving.
Next one? What's the next one? Next one's same thing, moving everything around, so,
Now, let's leave what's there,
yeah, so
And
go back to
then-
one.
build around
Yeah,
it.
so more than likely, it sounds like the consensus will be that, I mean, I agree with Mr. Falcone that we want to kind of leave what's there and then build around. That's gonna be a little more cost effective. So, when I first got this, I kind of was a little taken aback because I thought we were getting digital stuff. So, but we did meet a little after this. We went over these projects and they said, well, the reason we don't get into that right now is because there could be so many different changes. And we would have spent all this time and money, developing a nice display for you. But if we're gonna go just with one of these, then I can let them know and they can do the digitized version of it. And then we can plan a public meeting to get public input. And then after that, kind of start bringing it back to council. Now, after that, we may be well into next year by the time we get to some of this stuff, because of funding and that kind of stuff, because we don't know what some of these things are gonna cost. I know like there might be a potential to work with the Lions Club to help, the International Lions Club to help. They do a matching grant system, so like if we put up 100,000, they'll put up 100,000, that could pay for the basketball court, / pavilion / meeting place / stage, whatever. So
This is like I said, some of the things that they're working on,
Landscape
so
berm.
get a master plan in there.
Where's landscape berm?
a landscape berm is basically like they build it up a little bit, and just put nice, growth on it, bushes or whatever naturally grows in the area.
See, they also got over there by the basketball, they should more parking there.
Yeah,
They cut into more parking there.
Could be deep.
Rocks everywhere.
And then what I was thinking of that pavilion, just thinking out loud, is kind of angle it toward the park.
You see, I put red lines kind of where we thought, like, we're that way towards the park.
See, and then everybody can sit in the park and the people, the swing sets can see the, whoever the band is, and then everybody, they can see it.
Yeah.
And I just seen a while ago with people just sitting there, they're doing, I guess, some kind of raffle or something.
They have all kinds of colorful bags.
Yeah, it's easier for people to get into, like the bands and stuff like that. Like they put it in the middle of the pavilion.
Yeah.
We're gonna get another version of this because one for that, and then they need to mark where the service entrance would be for workers or for bands or even where the dumpster's gonna go. But also you'll see it up there on the upper left, you'll see it, we want to cut into the park to get more parking. That would
It's
be
fun
like,
stuff,
but in the back end.
Do we have a plan maybe to do something with Sharps Park?
That's it.
Not yet.
That looks like might be an opportunity
Yeah.
for a event center or something.
there's actually a grant that we might qualify for because you don't need audits. It's from the Parks and Wildlife, and I just, my friend up from Austin kind of told me about it. If we build it like bird watching kind of thing, put like feeders out there and butterfly, it's like
Butterfly garden.
garden, there you
Yeah,
go, garden. He
those are
says,
cool.
like, they said they have this grant that you could use, like, to have like a little walking trail out there and build it up to be like a bird sanctuary kind of thing. And I thought, well, I was thinking about, that's what I came to mind when he was telling me about that was Sharps Park. Like, it's got a lot of trees out there, and I've been out there before, and there's a lot of birds and stuff out there, and they're not even getting fed. So you start feeding them, you feed them, and they shall come, right? Is that what they say?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, if y'all can get us a draft of a draft. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't catch the date of the next meeting. 'cause I
16th.
didn't hear this room. I show on here August the 28th, I think.
That's been changed.
Y'all's date.
That's been changed.
I'll be for that.
Yeah, and that 16th they changed because when Mr. Webster called me yesterday, let me know he wasn't
So this
showing
is
up. He
all
asked that
dated.
if the next meeting could be on a weekday, because it was kind of hard for him to come on the
Mm.
weekend. He might propose.
Like you when you work.
Tuesday, the 18th. It doesn't matter to me, I'm already here, so.
I had to look at my schedule, I had to clean my schedule.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody coming by, and we'll adjourn.
That's cool. Looks nice.